is unveiled in the honor of the Yankee Clipper, Joe DiMaggio.
Joseph Paul DiMaggio, the Yankee Clipper, 1914-1999. Recognized as baseball's greatest living player. Lifetime batting average, .325. Won MVP award, 1939, 1941, 1947. Selected to All-Star Game 13 times. American League batting title 1939-1940. Elected to Hall of Fame 1955. Set one of baseball's most enduring records, 56-game hitting streak, May 15th to July 16th, 1941. Led the Yankees to an incredible 9 World Championships in his 13-year career. A baseball legend, an American icon. He has passed, but he will never leave us. Dedicated by the New York Yankees, April 25th, 1999.
Ladies and gentlemen, April 25th, 1999, the Yankees remember the Yankee Clipper, Joe DiMaggio. He will always be remembered. Thank you very much. Enjoy the game.
Stirring, moving ceremonies, spectacularly executed by the New York Yankees here today. Bob Shepard announcing the starting lineup for the 1951 Game 6 of the World Series. Paul Simon singing in center field. I certainly hope you enjoyed it. It was an absolute thrill and an honor to be here at Yankee Stadium today. Meanwhile, the players are getting set to play this one, and I thought the Yankees did themselves proud with the way they were most attentive during the entire ceremony today to honor number 5, Joe DiMaggio, the 5th member of the Yankees to have a monument in Monument Park. We'll be back on MSG in a moment. We'll hear from Toronto Blue Jay David Wells, perhaps the last member of the Yankees to see Joe DiMaggio here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Well, it was an absolutely spectacular ceremony honoring Joe DiMaggio here, just concluding moments ago. Meanwhile, the Yankees are getting ready now, making preparations. David Cohn taking his warm-up pitches, Kelvin Escobar as well. Don Zimmer said it was awesome. Derek Jeter said it was really nice to see how the fans responded and what the Yankees did in presenting the 5th monument in Monument Park. We now know, unfortunately, that last September 27th, Joe DiMaggio Day, was the Yankee Clippers' last visit to Yankee Stadium. As you can see now, the monument draped in the Yankee banner, standing next to Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Miller Huggins, and Mickey Mantle. Here it was, Joe D in that gorgeous white convertible Thunderbird, September 27th, 1998, and what turned out to be his final goodbye at Yankee Stadium. Perhaps you remember that in the ceremony that day, the Yankees presented Joe DiMaggio with all his World Series rings that had been stolen. And what a collection they were in the box. The last Yankee he saw before leaving Yankee Stadium was David Wells. David, I'm thinking that you may be the last Yankee to have seen Joe DiMaggio. Can you recount for us what happened in the hallway outside the clubhouse that day?
Well, it was after the ceremony. They presented him with his rings that were stolen, and I was in the tunnel outside the clubhouse, and he come walking up, and he was sitting there talking to some people, and I was just sitting there waiting. I had a jersey from his Children's Hospital charity event down in Fort Lauderdale, and so I was just waiting for him to come over, and I was going to have him sign it one way or another. And so he comes over to me and goes, "Did you see these?" I said, "No, I did earlier. I was lying." I said, "No," and he's like, "I want to see him?" I'm like, "Yeah." So he opened the box, and I was just like, my jaw fell open. I was like, "Can you do me a favor?" And he goes, "What's that?" And I said, "Turn around for about 5 minutes." And so we just talked, and I told him congratulations on getting his new rings, and it was great what the Yankees did for him, what George did for him, and then he signed the jersey for me, and he asked where I got it, and I said some photographer gave it to me, and I'd be honored if you signed it. He goes, "Sure." And so he did it, and I was just like, it's amazing, because a lot of people have said that he's very unpleasant at times, but every time I put something in front of him, he signed it, and he was very happy about it.
It was a little intimidating, though, wasn't it?
Are you kidding? It was. I mean, it's like, it's like the kids coming to their first big league game and meeting like a Mark McGwire or something like that, and then it's like, wow, you start buckling, and you get goosebumps from it, and it's an unbelievable feeling, but I'm honored that I got the opportunity to meet Joe and shake his hand and and talk a little shop with him.
Well, of what you know of Joe DiMaggio, what do you think is the most impressive thing?
Just the way he went about his business, and what he did for the game of baseball. Obviously his hit streak was amazing for the game, but just what he didn't really flaunt himself as a player of all the recognition that he got, and I think that to do that, because there's a lot of guys who like to talk about themselves, and he never did, not that I heard of from anybody. And he was just a very generous man. He did a lot of charity work, and you hear some good stories, you hear some bizarre stories, and that's just the way it goes. People aren't perfect, and I think that what he did for that and coming here every year and throwing out the first pitch, he doesn't have to do that. He doesn't owe anybody anything, but he came out because I think that he's going to get a hell of a reaction, and he does every time he steps foot in Yankee Stadium, and I think that was a blessing.
Must have been great to be wearing that uniform that day.
Oh, it is, and I think that be proud of every moment that you can wear it.
And when I saw David Wells get that autograph that beautiful day here at Yankee Stadium, he had the look of a child on his face, and that's one of the endearing qualities of David Wells. Inspired that day by Joseph Paul DiMaggio, as are we all, here at the most historic place in sports. It's the Yankees and the Blue Jays next. We're back live at Yankee Stadium. David Cone making his preparation to go 4-0. If he can win today, he's 3-0 on the season so far. And he'll be going up against a very young, a very talented, up-and-coming team, the Toronto Blue Jays, who have lost the first 2 games of this 3-game set. This before the Yankees take on their longest road trip of the season. That starts Tuesday in Texas. Hi, everybody. Al Troutwig back here at Yankee Stadium. You really felt the pride of the organization here, and these ceremonies were absolutely outstanding. Bob Shepard introducing the lineup from the '51 World Series, and John Sterling and Phil Rizzuto, and the unveiling of the monument itself, and Paul Simon singing "Where Have You Gone?" Joe DiMaggio in center field. Really great stuff. Let's talk about the Yankees and refocus on the game for a moment. A while ago when we first came on, we had a chance to show you how the Yankees beat the Toronto Blue Jays yesterday. While we have a chance in preparation for this game today, another look at what the Yankees did with Andy Pettitte on the mound taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. Nice moment before the game as Joe Torre made the presentation of rings to Graham Lloyd, to David Wells, and to Homer Bush, who's out with a finger injury. Meanwhile, on the top of the first, shaky start for Andy Pettitte, but a strange moment is part of his undoing. Derek Jeter drops the ball. When do we see that? Now he would score, then Carlos Delgado grounds a ball past Tino at first base, driving in Jose Cruz Jr. Yankees trailed by a 2-0 count. Bottom of the fourth, Luis Sojo grounds to short. Alex Gonzalez cannot connect with Pat Kelly, so everybody's safe. And the Yankees usually make you pay, and Chuck Knobloch did the job. Single to right field. It's a tie game. Ricky Leday and Luis Sojo scoring. And then Derek Jeter was the next batter. And the top of the Yankee order has been red hot. Same spot, single to right. Joe Girardi and Chuck Knobloch score, so the Yankees grab the lead at 4-2. Now Jay's threatening in the sixth. Second and third, nobody out. Geronimo Baroa to Pettit. He throws home. Girardi runs back Delgado and tags him. Now things get weird. They go to second base after the tag, and the ball gets by Chuck Knobloch. So Tony Fernandez scores. It's 4-3, a one-run game. The Jays got another run to tie the game at 4. Bottom 7, Chili Davis, after striking out in the game a couple of times before that. An 0-2 pitch from Dan Plesac. That's a game winner. A 3-run shot made it 7-4. And in the top of the 9th, Mariano Rivera closed it out, striking out 2 in the 9th inning. Looking good. And the Yankees win the game by a score of 7-4. So we're back at the stadium, nearly packed on Joe DiMaggio Day, as David Cone makes his way through the left center field wall. About to get things started today. It's the Yankees and the Toronto Blue Jays on an absolutely gorgeous day in the Bronx. Beautiful pictures today as David Cone heads home. We'll be back in a moment. The newest face, the newest member, cast in bronze in Monument Park, Joseph Paul DiMaggio. Here's a look at some of the images we just enjoyed here at Yankee Stadium.
Honored George Herman 2 years ago.
You've been watching the New York Marriott Marquis Yankee Scorecard. The New York Marriott Marquis, Broadway's biggest hit.
At the age of 76, Yankee Stadium looks gorgeous, draped in April sunshine. And she's having quite a year. On the season's first day, a 24th World Championship banner was raised. And to officially begin things, Yogi Berra returned to throw a beautiful first pitch. And the stadium roared for the fact that Joe Torre could be part of everything. Today we'll celebrate the career of Joe DiMaggio, knowing that he had his day, which was sadly a final goodbye last summer. Now he joins the most elite group in baseball. Then, Joe D's team will play a baseball game. And because of Chili Davis yesterday, they've won 4 of those in a row. It's a big day in the Bronx, and David Cone is the perfect man for the job. MSG is the network for New York Yankees baseball. And on a glorious sun-filled day, we're back at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. The Yankees going for the sweep against the Toronto Blue Jays. Young pitcher Kelvin Escobar, 2-0 with an ERA at 4 even, goes up against tried and true veteran David Cone, who's perfect on the year with an ERA less than 1. Stirring, emotional, historic, memorable. The ceremonies that just concluded moments ago here at the most historic place in sports, giving Joe DiMaggio the honor of having the 5th monument in Monument Park. But now it's time for the Yankees to refocus as they take on this challenge of the Toronto Blue Jays. They're tied at first place. And for more on today's game, let's go upstairs to Jim Cott and Ken Singleton. Guys.
Thanks, Al. It's already been a great day. You could almost pack up and go home and say this has been a terrific day already, and it could not be more appropriate to have David Cone, who is so knowledgeable about the history and tradition of the Yankees and baseball, to be on the mound for the Yankees and trying to sweep these young Toronto Blue Jays. As you see his numbers, only Roy Halladay of the Blue Jays has a lower earned run average than David Cone. Walk total a little high, and primarily, Kenny, that was some of his first starts.
Well, David Cone trying to make it a sweep of the homestand. He was the one who actually opened this homestand against the Texas Rangers and pitched so brilliantly against Texas, and throwing a part of a shutout, 8 innings, only 3 hits against the Texas Rangers in the first game of this 5-game homestand.
Here is the lineup posted by Jim Fregosi. It's about the same one except for his catching platoon, brought to you by Hyundai. It's Shannon Stewart with speed at the top, then Jose Cruz Jr. and Sean Green. Carlos Delgado, Tony Fernandez having a great series. Willie Green, the DH. Darren Fletcher, left-hand hitting catcher. Alex Gonzalez, ex-Yankee Pat Kelly.
In the field, our New York Life Yankee lineup. It's going to be Bellinger, Jeter, Knobloch, and Martinez in the infield. Leday, Williams, O'Neill in the outfield. Jorge Posada doing the catching for David Cone. Well, Bellinger getting his first start since the last game in Detroit. That was back on the 18th of this month. And the pride of Oneonta, New York gets to start this afternoon. The veteran Louis Soho will get a day off, at least a partial day off.
First pitch of the game to Shannon Stewart is in for a strike. Well, it's a day Clay Bellinger hasn't started in at least 10 days, and it's the kind of day that you say, wow, I was in the starting lineup the day they unveiled the monument honoring Joe DiMaggio. Up and in, a ball and a strike.
You know, I think that the ceremonies before the game, Kitty, just to explain it one more time, that Yankee history is unlike any other history of any other team in baseball.
No question about it. There are other organizations who have had championships and who have had great players. Good breaking ball. Cone was about as sharp in his last start as we've seen him, and he starts out today in the same fashion, 1-2 to Shannon Stewart. Stewart with 3 home runs and 11 RBIs is tied with Derek Jeter, scoring 19 runs in the American League. Tapped foul out in front of the plate. And back to your point, Kenny, but no one honors them with the touch, the class, the almost like Joe DiMaggio himself, a class, an elegance. I mean, golf has Augusta National and it's Magnolia Lane, and Yankee Stadium is what that is to golf, and that's the Magnolia Lane of baseball right there, Monument Park. Did he go? No, says Mike Riley. 2-2.
Kitty, you pointed out that David Cone was sharp in his last start. He had everything working. Had the great slider, tremendous splitter, overpowering fastball, and if he can pitch anything like he did in the opening game of this homestand, he'll be very, very tough on these young Blue Jays.
Having a difficult time polishing off Shannon Stewart, and that's an improvement in this ball club. Jose Cruz Jr. leading the league in walks. They, like some of the Yankee hitters, have become more disciplined, laying off those borderline pitches. Got him quick with a 3-2 breaking ball, and David Cone starts the afternoon with a strikeout. Speaking of Yankee starters, as we look at this sharp breaking ball.
Well, 3-2 breaking ball, kind of, I wouldn't call that his A swing as far as Stewart was concerned. The strong arm staff, the starters, 13 of 16 quality starts, 2.93 ERAs. You can see the best in the majors. Innings per start, best in the American League at 6.5, almost 7 innings per start, and allowed 10 home runs, fewest in the American League.
And the Blue Jays, who came into this series as Cruz grounds this out towards second. Knobloch with an accurate throw to Tino Martinez in time for the second out. The Blue Jays came into the series leading the American League in home runs, and they have yet to hit one in this series.
First of all, Knobloch gets a nice Sunday hop there, about chest high.
Appropriately.
Yeah, and the throw over the first is in time for the out.
He had a little rhythm to that. You notice how he kind of pounded the ball in his glove and then got it up in the throwing, and that's all he really needs, is just to get a little rhythm, no different than a pitcher or probably even an outfielder making a throw.
I wonder where that term came from, Sunday hop.
Nice day like today, I guess. Curveball misses the outside corner to Sean Green. Green has really emerged as a solid number 3 hitter. You see the average over 300. Another good breaking ball, 1-1. Got an opportunity to play last year. Cito Gaston, Sean Green was not one of Cito's favorite players, and he would never get to play 2-3 days in a row. A relaxed David Wells looking on. But now playing every day against all kinds of pitching, he's become a near all-star inside. 2-1 to Green.
Yeah, last year was his breakout season, hitting 35 home runs. A good all-around player, 35 stolen bases. Fine defensive player, good arm in right field.
Three and one. Al Troutwig pointed out on our pregame coverage of the Joe DiMaggio ceremonies the youth and the talent of this Toronto team. Green a good example. So many young players as well as their pitching staff, talented but young. Hit well down in the corner. Leday at the track, and this is going to slice into the stands for a home run right over the 318 mark. The first home run of the series for the Blue Jays. Sean Green 6th, and they jump out on top 1-0.
Well, you mentioned the power of the Jays. They finally hit one of the seats here at Yankee Stadium. Is Sean Green, watch him just reach out on this pitch, moving away from him, got good wood on it. And they say you really become a home run hitter when you can hit one to any place in the ballpark. That one down the line, sliced off the bat of Sean Green. It's almost as if David Cohn couldn't believe it.
I can understand that. It was what we'd call a Yankee Stadium home run. Stuck it right down in the corner where it's just 318 feet. Here's Carlos Delgado, the cleanup hitter. Outside for a ball. Roger Clemens, who will pitch Tuesday night, the season opener in Texas, remarking about how the ball jumps off the bat of Carlos Delgado. Of course, they were teammates last year. 2-0.
The young man has become well respected in the Toronto clubhouse. He's the captain of the team.
2-1. The fastball from David Cohn. Yankees 11-5, riding the 4-game winning streak, and their record here at home this year 9-1. Fouled straight back 2-2. Going back to the end of last season, the Yankees have won 16 of their last 17 games. They've played at the stadiums. We look at the report on David Cohn.
4 of a kind. He's won 3 in a row this year. Loves the home cooking. His record is tops at anybody in Yankee Stadium. And a nasty splitter, which might be coming right here. Nope.
But another one of those weapons of David Cohn, the sharp late breaking slider. 2 strikeouts. Blue Jays get on the board with a home run. Back after this.
New York Yankees baseball is brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better. By American Express. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more. By Hertz. For business, for pleasure. Nobody does it exactly like Hertz. And by The Wiz, your ticket to home entertainment.
Beautiful look at the stadium as Calvin Escobar gets set to face the Yankee leadoff hitter Chuck Knobloch. Eye for a ball. First, a couple of tidbits on Escobar. He's 22 years old, from Venezuela. There you see his record in 3 starts. Good control. Fastball about 96 to 97. Successful out of the Blue Jay bullpen a couple of years ago, but they have decided to make him a starter. That's in for a strike. And if he gets that fastball over consistently, there you'll see as Luis Sojo, the number 14 on his cap, and honoring his teammate Andres Galarraga, not his teammate, his countryman, in Galarraga's battle to overcome cancer. But if he gets ahead with that fastball, he can polish you off with a pretty devastating splitter.
Tried to drop a curveball in on Knobloch, couldn't get it in there. And Chuck is ahead on the count, 2-1. You see his average up to 339. 3 hits here yesterday, including a big 2-run single.
The best tandem in baseball, 1-2 punch, Chuck Knobloch, Derek Jeter. Hit well left center field. On the run is Cruz, and he's going to put it away. Knobloch retired, first out of the ballgame. Let's check out the rest of the Yankee lineup. That 1-2 punch of Chuck Knobloch, Derek Jeter, then Paul O'Neill looking to break out of a slump. Bernie Williams, Tino Martinez, the hot-hitting Chili Davis. Bottom third, Jorge Posada, Ricky Leday, Clay Bellinger.
Lineup in the field, our New York lineup in the field for the Blue Jays. Fernandez, Gonzalez, Kelly and Delgado, the infield. Stewart, Cruz, Green in the outfield. Fletcher doing the catching for Escobar. Looking at right field of Sean Green, we've already seen him with the bat today. He carries a pretty good glove out in right field, along with a very strong throwing arm.
First pitch to Derek Jeter, low for a ball. Jeter and Knobloch in the first inning are batting .500 as a duo. 13 for 26. Derek with 19 runs scored. That ties Shannon Stewart for the league lead. You see his average still well above 400. 2-0. Oh, check that. Mike Riley with a little bit of a delayed call. And one of the better umpires behind home plate. A lot of energy. Leaves you no doubt as to what the call is. Iron Mike. 2-1. The Yankees, of the 16 games, have scored in the first inning in almost half, in 7 of them. And of course, that's primarily because of the work of Knobloch and Jeter. Good fastball, 2-2.
Yeah, one of the rare times we've seen Jeter chase a pitch out of the strike zone. He probably looking fastball. It was out over the plate. And the power of the foul. You can hear the popping of the glove of Darren Fletcher behind the plate, the catcher. Escobar's fastball at 95, 96, as Kitty said, sometimes 97 miles an hour.
Sharply right at Tony Fernandez. Well hit by Jeter. 2 quick outs here in the Yankee first.
Look at check this normal speed. Tony Fernandez had to hang on for dear life. This ball is hit like a frozen rope towards third. The veteran comes up with it. Now watch him. Not much time to react. Tony Fernandez, primarily most of his career, a shortstop and a second baseman. Last year and a half or so. Now he's over at third.
No matter where you put him on the infield, Tony Fernandez, managers will always say, I remember Davey Johnson during his days when he had Fernandez, the greatest shortstop he said he's the best third baseman I've had. Here's O'Neill. Paul is 2 for his last 27, and both of those have been home runs. So he's looking to break out of a slump here, last game of the homestand. First pitch outside for a ball. On the corner, 1-1.
Now, you talked about him being 2 for his last 27, but I think this Yankee team realizes the fact that how important walks are. And I think that the other night against Texas, when he drew that walk that started an inning in the Yankee rally, you know, he's not up there cutting and slashing because he hasn't been hitting. He's still looking for good pitches to hit.
As evidenced by taking that one, it's 2-1. Well, it's the combination. We talked about the starting pitching and the solid starts they continue to give the Yankees. That was the strength of the team last year, but you have to have some offense to go along with it. The Blue Jays actually had more quality starts last year than the Yankees, but they didn't have the run scoring ability. And the Yankees, when they score 4 or more runs, are 11-1 this year. So they get good starting pitching to set it up, and timely hitting on the corner. And the count is even. Speaking of home plate umpire Mike Riley, let's check the rest of the crew. Brought to you by NAM, National Arbitration and Mediation. Most timely, cost-effective way to settle your legal disputes. The Chief, Richie Garcia at third, then Tim Welke and Mark Johnson. Broken bat off the end, out towards second, and Calvin Escobar will have a 1-2-3 inning here to shut down the Yankees in the first. We head to the top of the second inning here at the stadium on Joe DiMaggio Day. 1-0 Toronto.
A
near sellout on Joe DiMaggio Day. They've come to get their commemorative program. New York Yankee baseball is brought to you in part by American Express. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more, and by Toyota. Every day. Jim Cott along with Ken Singleton, happy to have you with us on a very special day at the stadium when Joe DiMaggio was honored before the game, the unveiling of the 5th monument in Monument Park, and touching remarks from his former teammate Phil Rizzuto, and many other great Yankees on hand: Hank Bauer, Yogi Berra, Jerry Coleman, Gil McDougald, and of course the chairman of the board, Whitey Ford. And banners to honor the late Yankee Clipper. First pitch to Tony Fernandez, inside for a ball. They've touched on just about all of the numbers that are on the monument right there. The 56-game streak, the 3 MVPs, 2 batting titles, 13-time All-Star. And during his tenure, you see the batting average at .325, 9 world championships in the 13 years that Joe DiMaggio was here. And the count now to Fernandez has gone 3-0. Tony having a good series, 4 for 9, and the average over 400. In for a strike, 3-1. The home run by Green broke a scoreless streak that David Cone had over his last 3 starts of 11 2/3 innings. That's the guy that did it, Sean Green. Foul out of play, and the count is full.
Kenny, one more point of information on Joe DiMaggio. If you're ever traversing the West Side Highway, from now on, starting today, it's the Joe DiMaggio Highway.
How about that? I'll travel it on my way out to New Jersey. Many banners honoring the Yankee Clipper. Another check swing foul. We had a chance to visit with our broadcasting colleague Tim McCarver the other night at the Joe Torre dinner put on by the American Heart Association. He pointed out to us that there were only 2 men in Major League Baseball last year that hit over 300 with 2 strikes. One name would really surprise you, Aaron Ledesma, ex-Met, and the other is Tony Fernandez, a 300 hitter with 2 strikes.
Good contact hitter, fouls a lot of pitches off, and then gets one he can handle.
Check swing. Did it sounded like it made contact with the bat? Yankees did not get that call. There was an extra little sound there that sounded like a foul tip. Well, listen.
Well, he's going to start the bat, but he's going to put the brakes on in a hurry, and it looks as though Posada caught it cleanly. So that pitch was up high for ball 4. Another look at it from this angle, the definitive angle, if you will. And you can see that Tony Fernandez did not go around.
Leadoff walk, and Willie Green will step in, the designated hitter. Breaking ball low. Ed Sprague, the third baseman for a long time with the Blue Jays, and they had high hopes for a youngster, Tom Evans. And Green actually had a good year with the Cincinnati Reds a couple of years ago, but not an exceptional third baseman, so he'll fill the role of DH. 2-0.
Yeah, Willie Green was with Baltimore last year, and they put him in the outfield and tried him out in right field for a while. He's played a little first base too, as Posada trying to get Cone in some sort of a rhythm here in the 2nd inning, trying to break the pattern that he's in right now.
Another solid outing yesterday from Andy Pettit in your picture there, and El Duque talking with pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre. Left field, Ricky Leday is there. 1 away. Gives us a chance to check out our Marriott matchup this afternoon.
Our New York Marriott marquee matchup, Kelvin Escobar Tuesday against the Angels picked up a victory, 8 hits, 6 in the 3rd innings, only 1 run. And Tuesday against the Rangers, David Cone didn't give up any runs. 7 strikeouts in 8 innings. Yankees won that game 4-0.
That's the New York Marriott marquee pitching matchup. Darren Fletcher, the left-hand hitting catcher, will step in, misses for a ball. Jim Fregosi, who took over the Blue Jays as manager on March 17th in spring training, has used a catching platoon. Fletcher will play against right-handers, and Mike Matheny
right-hand hitting catcher, plays against lefties.
Fletcher off to a much better start this year than he was last year. Last year he was down on the interstate somewhere about this time of year. This year hitting .319.
Outside 2-0.
It's kind of ironic. He finally got it going last year against his former team, the Montreal Expos, when they played interleague play. Took him all the way to June before he started to hit well.
Pitch counter in Mel Stottlemyre's hand, and El Duque is the toss to first base to keep Fernandez close. It's like El Duque maybe, I don't know if he's charting. There might just be some notes in there on the Blue Jay hitters, or in El Duque's case, it might be on the Texas Rangers. That'll be his next start Wednesday night. Toward Knobloch, could be, flip to Jeter, and an inning-ending double play. After the leadoff walk, David Cone sets the Blue Jays down. We head to the bottom of the second on a very historic day here at the stadium. 1-0 Toronto. Welcome back. That's the program all the fans receive. All the ticket holders are given that program. The Yankees remember Joe DiMaggio. It's got some great quotes in there from some of his former teammates. And Joe Torre is quoted, Tim McCarver. Great pictures of Joe D. and Mickey Mantle, Lou Gehrig. And I'm sure in addition to seeing the game and the ceremonies, a lot of the fans came today to be able to take that home and keep it for a souvenir. Another one of the many banners. Tribute to Joseph Paul DiMaggio. Bernie Williams, average over 300, steps in.
Kitty, you talked about the Blue Jays leading the league in home runs coming into this series. Now they've only hit one, and that was by Sean Green today.
Center field playable. Cruz is there. One down.
It's interesting to note that on most ball clubs, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters, in the case of the Yankees, O'Neill, Williams, and Tito Martinez for the most part. And for the Blue Jays last year, it was Green, Delgado, and Jose Canseco, is now with Tampa. The 3, 4, and 5 hitters hit more than 50% of the home runs on most teams. But that's not true with the Yankees, because last year, O'Neill, Williams, and Martinez accounted for only 78 of the 207. So the Yankees have more diversified power throughout their lineups, where the Blue Jays, their trio, hit 119 of 221. So it shows you their power is concentrated in one area of the lineup, and that's why the Yankees are so dangerous up and down the lineup.
Ball one to Tito Martinez. I think that takes a lot of pressure off the Yankee hitters. That's in to even the count 1-1. The numbers you just alluded to, as a member of the Blue Jays, you know, if you're Delgado, you may feel a little extra pressure to carry the load. If you're Paul O'Neill, hey, if I don't do it, there's 6 other guys that will. Or 7.
Yeah.
Scott Brocious may be back by next weekend to give him more production again out of that number 9 spot, as he did so well last year.
Yeah, it was just announced up here in the booth that Scott Brocious will go out on a rehab assignment and play for the Tampa Yankees in the Florida State League. He'll play there Tuesday and Wednesday nights, and he's eligible to come off the disabled list shortly thereafter.
2-1 pitch, and that is amazing that the first time through the batting order here, Escobar's pattern has just about been the same. He falls behind 1-0, then a ball to make it 1-1, and falls behind 2-1, or rather strike to make it 1-1. So he keeps falling behind but coming back with a good pitch to follow it up. Long look at Fletcher, and Martinez will ask for time.
It shows you the power of his fastball, because Tito Martinez, unlike a lot of left-handers, likes that high fastball, and he swung right through the last one. Looks like a fastball grip again.
Outside, and the count is full. And that great shot we had of of Escobar gripping the baseball, that split finger grip, tells you that that's probably the 4-seam fastball. That's the one that will give you a little more riding action. It's not going to sink or sail as much. Normally easier to control. There's another look at it. Just to find a comfortable spot on those seams. And Tino Martinez draws a 1-out walk. Well, Chili Davis stepping up to the plate. And if you followed the Yankees the last couple of days, you've seen a lot of this.
This is yesterday. Chili Davis in the 7th inning with 2 men aboard. It was a tie game. There's a Corona Extra Effort Award for the Yankee. Yankee DH Chili Davis, who's been swinging the bat from both sides of the plate.
I have a feeling he's going to try to get that started a little bit quicker against young Calvin Escobar. In for a strike. I think that's what Chili's been able to do this year after missing most of last year. Kind of rejuvenated, and there's a lot more bat speed than he has shown in the last couple of seasons.
Now here's an example. The number 6 hitter on the Yankee club leads the team in homers, tied with the number 2 hitter. So it's not the 3, 4, and 5 guys that are leading the team in homers at this point.
Outside, 1-1 to Chili.
Derek Jeter, of course, bats second. And Chili Davis, for the most part this year, has batted 6th.
Posada waiting on deck. Jorge looking for his first hit of the season from the left side of the plate. 2-1. Check out our American Express quote book. This is what Don Zimmer had to say about Chili Davis.
This guy's been a good hitter all his life. He's still a good hitter. He's gotten some big hits for us this year. If you think about it, when the Yankees signed Chili Davis from Kansas City as a free agent, that year for the Royals, his last year, he hit the most home runs he's ever hit. He hit 30 that year. He's like a fine wine, getting better with age.
Late on that one, 2-2, and I think that swing right there will tell Chili Davis if he's going to catch up with Escobar's fastball, he's going to have to start it a little quicker.
Plus he had to reach for it a little bit, down and away. That's the ball we've seen Chili kind of loop down that left field line and get something started with maybe a 2-base hit. Not every pitch is thrown to the plate meant to be hit for a home run. Not nearly. Or else they'd be hitting them all the time.
Outside, another full count.
It looked like the splitter.
Mel Queen, Toronto pitching coach, mentioned that as Posada waits on deck. He said he's got an explosive fastball. There's Mel in your picture. And during the spring training stint against the Yankees, probably about as good an outing as he had. He really made Bernie Williams look like a rather ordinary hitter in spring training, but he has to have better command of it than he's had here today. Martinez on the run, strikeout. Fletcher's throw is not in time. And Martinez will steal second base with 2 down here in the Yankees second.
Well, thinking that Chili Davis would make some contact, they have Tino Martinez on the run. And it looked like Pat Kelly tried to make the tag a little bit too soon, tried to sweep that glove and make the tag. Tough pitch to hit. The throw by Fletcher. And you can see the throw might have been there in time, but trying to drop the glove too soon before catching the ball. To see the reaction of the catcher, Fletcher. Another one got away.
And again, when you see catching stats, they're so deceiving because you'll see Joe Girardi 0 for 11, 0 for 12. It's more than just the catcher. Posada steps in. It's a 3-part play, and there was an example of the third part of it. You have to have an infielder that can, make that quick tag. Gene Michael, the stick involved in the Yankee scouting department, still was the fastest I've ever seen at catching the ball and applying the tag. As you pointed out, Pat Kelly tried to apply the tag before he had the ball. It's in for a strike to Posada.
Jorge, as Kitty mentioned, hasn't had a hit left-handed. He's 0 for 20 as a left-handed hitter. He wants to stop the bleeding.
0-2, and I would imagine, Kenny, you were a switch hitter, that for most hitters when they start the season, they just say, well, I want to get a couple hits and get out of the starting blocks. But now for a switch hitter, you got 2 sides to worry about doing that.
Yeah, fortunately for Jorge, he's had some big hits right-handed. He hasn't had as many at bats, but because you're going to bat many more times left-handed.
just off the corner, 1-2. For the second consecutive start, Jorge Posada catching David Cone. For the most part, Joe Girardi had become David Cone's regular catcher. Don Zimmer and Joe Torre saying they're not going to try to make it appear that any catcher is a personal catcher for one of the Yankee pitchers. 2-2. Joe caught yesterday's game, of which Andy Pettitte pitched well again in his second start, and of course the 3-run homer from Chili Davis late to win that one.
Teamwork plays a big part in the success of any team, and the amount of time that Joe Girardi and Jorge Posada talk about catching and pitch calling is amazing.
After 0-2, Posada has worked the count full, and that seems to be the norm for young Calvin Escobar, just 22 years old, out of Venezuela. Clay Bellinger, or rather Ricky Leday, waiting on deck.
When you're looking for a first hit, the first thing you should do, try and get yourself into a hitter's count, and this is a hitter's count. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Pitcher has to deliver a strike.
Got him. A little bit of a hesitation by Mike Riley, and Jorge Posada takes up the argument. And the best thing Jorge can say is, okay, just make sure my pitcher gets those. We played 2. Blue Jays lead it by a run. A perfect day at the stadium as the Yankees honored Joe DiMaggio before the game. Let's check out the last out of the second inning.
In the first game of the series, I talked about Darren Fletcher's ability to be very quiet catching the ball. Only moved his arm as he received the pitch, and I think this is the reason why he got the call. You know, if he's reaching outside, he's not going to get the call from Mike Riley. As you can see, the pitch looked to be outside to begin with. Here's a look at the National Finance Corporation Skycam. National Finance Corporation, homeowners, lower your monthly payments, apply by phone, and the number is 1-800-LOAN-NFC.
Yeah, that was a great angle, Kenny, of how Fletcher, he let the ball come to him. You know, he sort of reached and softened his hands and brought it in to his body and sold Mike Riley on the call.
That's called stealing a strike, and it worked for a call, strike 3.
Alex Gonzalez with the average over 300. The number 8 batter in the Blue Jay lineup steps in. First pitch outside for a ball. One and one.
Looking at Gonzalez's hands on the bat there, he has those pads over the knuckle area of his gloves. See that? Of his batting gloves?
In for a strike, 1-2.
Are those allowed, Kitty? I think I better check with you.
I don't know that those are pads. I think those are a little like elastic. It helps it helps it give. They're like spandex in there.
You know, a little protection, maybe.
Oh,
yeah.
I see. Not on the gloves. Yeah, the pads. No, I'd rule those out. Tino Martinez in fair territory, puts it away. 1 down.
You know, he might be protecting an area where he'd been hit before.
You got a hard bat, 35 inches, 33, 34 ounces against that little baseball. You don't.
Yeah, see how thick those babies are?
It only encourages you to dive in a little bit more. You don't need that extra stuff.
Yeah, this one, the top one, really shows you. You don't need that.
Nah.
The ball's going to hurt if it hits you there. Maybe if the pitchers will stop pitching inside.
I think they have in recent years. Pat Kelly, the ex-Yankee, who's off to a nice start with the Blue Jays, 3 home runs, swings through the Cone fastball for a strike. I think if you offered those additional pieces of equipment to Joseph Paul DiMaggio, bunt attempt, going to be a tough play by Bellinger, and he makes it. Wow, a nice example of the fielding ability of Clay Bellinger. That's why he's here.
Well, we've seen this play many times before the last year, but it was Scott Brocious making this play. First of all, Kelly, an excellent bunt. Gets it down in fair territory. And watch Bellinger. Barehand pickup, off-balance throw, and right on the money for the out. See his reaction at third base? He knows he only has one way to do it, barehanded. And gets his man.
2 down. Here's the leadoff hitter, Shannon Stewart. That chance outside for a ball. I think if you offered all that extra stuff to Joseph Paul DiMaggio, he'd say, "Now, this give me my raw hands in that lumber, and I'll do the rest."
Well, that was before the days of batting gloves even.
I know. And helmets. Looks like this will slice out of play down the right. Now O'Neill may have room, just out of reach, and a happy fan with a souvenir. 1-1. Back to Bellinger. Those who have not seen Clay play a lot, made the Yankee club out of spring training. Boy, was he emotional on opening day, the first time on the major league roster after being in the Giant organization of minor leagues for 6 years. Actually signed by Don Zimmer's son, Tom Zimmer. And at one time down in Columbus last year, played all 9 positions. That's how versatile Bellinger is. 2-1 now to Stewart.
We've talked about the speed of Shannon Stewart. The Blue Jay record for stolen bases in a season is 60, held by an ex-Yankee, Dave Collins, back in 1984. I think that record's going by the boards this year.
Easily. Dave Collins. Boy, is that a name from the past. 2-2 to Stewart. Sunday afternoon, Susan Waldman will join our telecast in innings 4 through 7. And of course, Al Trautweg, as always, will be along, and we'll be able to reminisce about the moments prior to the game. The unveiling of the Joe DiMaggio monument. Checked in time, and the count is full to Stewart. It went full in his first at bat. Cone struck him out on a breaking ball.
Now, you know he remembers that. But Cone remembers what he threw him. It should be interesting to see what this 3-2 pitch is with Cruz on deck.
Thing with David Cone's breaking ball, if you remember it and know it's coming, still pretty tough to hit. Jammed him out toward Jeter. Accurate throw. Cone sets the Blue Jays down in order. In the third, we head to the bottom of the third inning, helped out by Clay Bellinger's remarkable play on the Kelly bunt. Yankees coming to bat. Back after this. Great weather, great day, great crowd. We head to the bottom of the third. Toronto leads it by a run. Let's check out our upcoming Delta Airlines schedule. We'll have all 3 of those on MSG starting Tuesday night. Roger Clemens against Aaron Seeley. El Duque, Orlando Hernandez on Wednesday, and Ramiro Mendoza against the veteran Mike Morgan on the series finale on Thursday. All 3 right here on MSG. Strike 1 to Ricky Leday.
And Mike Morgan playing for his 11th team.
And he's right-handed. You expect the left-handers to stick around like that.
Nice set of suitcases.
0-2. First time Escobar has really worked ahead of the hitter. Bellinger taking his practice swings in the on-deck circle.
I don't think there's any more beautiful sight if you're a former baseball fan than a full ballpark.
Wow, 3 great pitches from Escobar. And Leday down on strikes.
Well, Mel Queen told Kitty about the devastating splitter. And Ricky Leday finds out firsthand. Watch this ball just move right on away from him as he tries to make some sort of contact. No chance, and he's out of there. 3 strikeouts in a row for Escobar.
The hat trick. Bellinger tried to break that string, steps in. Clay with 3 hits. No production so far, no home runs or RBIs. And now looks like Escobar's, that pitch is foul out of play, is picking up a little confidence. You know, his pace, his rhythm, motion getting just a little quicker. And when he gets ahead with that fastball, very difficult to hit his splitter. Off-speed pitch, 1-1. Blue Jays with as fine a crop of young pitchers. Roy Halladay yesterday, Chris Carpenter, Escobar, a couple of their relief pitchers, Tom Davey, Peter Monroe, native New Yorker. Reminds me of back in the 80s when the Kansas City Royals. In fact, one of the young pitchers on that staff was a young man named David Cone. But prior to that, they had Brett Saberhagen, who unfortunately for the Red Sox had to leave with a shoulder injury yesterday.
Well, as the Yankees are finding out in the early going, Escobar is not a tasty treat. More than a hit per inning, though, and you see that live fastball that he has.
Ball and a strike. There's the splitter grip. And that's what it was in the dirt. 2-1. Also Danny Jackson, Mark Gubazza. Royals came up with some young pitchers and won the World Championship in 1985. Popped up, short center. Cruz with the glasses down makes the grab. 2 down.
Now, Kenny was talking about the splitter grip. You see that V right there with the fingers. And what that does, it takes the spin off the ball on the way to the plate, and it would drop abruptly.
You can even see the stitches of the baseball in that shot, and that's what a pitcher tries to do. He splits the finger, gets the inside of his fingers, the index and the middle finger, around those stitches. Yep, keep warm in the bullpen. It's a beautiful day out here at the stadium, but in the shade, still a bit brisk. So coffee delivery made to the Yankee bullpen. Mike Figa, Ramiro Mendoza. Here's Knobloch with 2 down. That's inside for a ball, and that shot of Mike Figa, the number 3 catcher on the Yankee roster, still the only player not to see any action.
He's getting to serve the coffee, it looks like. He's got the cups in front of him.
That's where that cup of coffee statement came from. They say guys in the big leagues for a cup of coffee. Right field. Fairly well. Green at the track. It's carrying, but he's got room. He puts it away. And a very efficient inning for Calvin Escobar. Yankees go quietly. Al Troutwig joins me in the 4th when we're back at the stadium. 1-0 Toronto. New York, New York. So nice they named it twice. Blue Jays lead it 1-0. Al Troutwig now joins me on this terrific day, and a great touch prior to the game, and you added to that. Last Sunday you were there for Gretzky's retirement. Today for this. Pretty special. I expect you have something in mind for next Sunday in Kansas City.
Maybe I'll go visit John Elway or something.
There you go.
But the best thing about it is that there's no other building you could have taken that same ceremony with the same touches and taken it somewhere else, and it just wouldn't be the same. That's the beauty of Yankee Stadium. Jose Cruz Jr. for the Toronto Blue Jays against David Cone, who's given up a solo home run to Sean Green, and that's it. And the Yankees have not yet gotten a hit off of Kelvin Escobar. It's one of those days where the stadium looks perfect, the sky is blue, the flags are blowing lightly, the grass looks green, the spirit, it's all perfect.
The sights and sounds of Major League Baseball, nothing like it is today. And it reminds me, 53 years ago, I saw my first game in Tiger Stadium. I know that's one of your favorite spots. But when you, as a youngster, when you come to a game like that, there is no, it's the greenest green and the whitest white, the uniform that you've ever seen in your life.
Yep, absolutely. And I'm sure that there are lots of fathers who made sure their sons were here today for that one. In there for a call, strike 3. Jose Cruz Jr. is retired by David Cone, his 3rd strikeout, and it comes here with now 1 out in the 4th inning.
Same formula as young Calvin Escobar. David Cone getting ahead with the fastball, and he's had excellent control of this backdoor breaking ball. Note from that Skycam shot how it starts out here but breaks in across the outside corner. Most of you have heard us use that term so often now, the backdoor breaking ball. You understand what it is.
Big fastball from David Cone. When you face the top 3 in the order for Toronto, you face their young talented outfield one after another, and they come to bat the way they go down on your scorecard: left field, center field, right field. In there for a call strike. 0-2. So David Cone jumps all over Sean Green, who hit his 6th home run of the season last time up. Here's David Cone.
Yeah, I like the again, the showing the hitter your hip pocket, gets in good position. Here's that whip-like action of the throwing arm, and Very important for pitchers to land on the ball of the foot or on the toe rather than the heel. You know, some pitchers land on the heel and you're actually throwing against yourself. That's where back injuries and arm injuries come up. By landing on the ball of the foot, you got all that momentum going right toward the target.
1-2 pitch to Sean Green. Fouled off. David was telling me it was Sandy Koufax who said for almost your entire windup, the only thing you've got on the ground is that back leg. You better make it work for you.
Koufax made it work rather well, didn't he? As does David Cone.
I mean, and it's such an obvious point, but when you think about it, there it is, the entire windup. It's like the only thing that grounds you.
It's like next Saturday, be a great day in this country, Kentucky Derby Day, and when those 1,400-pound animals stride down the track, only one of those 4 hoofs is on the ground at a time, just like a pitcher. That's the only thing in contact with the rubber, pushing off the rubber, the only part of his body in contact with the ground.
Is that true?
Yes.
I did not know that. Fouled straight back. Sean Green's got the pitches timed. He times it. Yeah, it fouls it straight back.
It looks like Green, and I don't know if you could sit on a breaking ball with 2 strikes, but this is what he did in the first inning. That was a splitter going down and away. And Cone, because of that home run just sliced inside the pole, has gone at him with mostly fastballs inside in this at bat.
Back live. And did it hit him, or did he get out of the way? Yeah, it hit him in the foot.
David Cone is going to take up the argument with Mike Riley that it might have hit him, but he swung. He swung at the ball. Mike Riley explaining that he didn't. We'll take a look at it. You see, boy, is that a late break. No, he didn't swing, but it had such a late break, and I think because of the home run in inning number 1, David Cone says he's not going to get anything out away where he can get the arms extended, and he just gets that one a little too far inside.
Here's Cone's reaction.
He swung. That's worth a try. All he can say is no. And that's what he said.
About 6 times.
Yeah.
Now David's got to be careful with the power of Carlos Delgado. Runner going. Delgado, good backhanded scoop by Tino Martinez. And there are 2 outs. Sean Green was off on the pitch. Well, time now for the Aflac Trivia Quiz. I haven't been very good at these, Jim. I'm like 0 for 7.
I think you'll get this one.
What minor league team did Joe DiMaggio play for prior to joining the Yankees? Yeah, this one I've got. What did he hit in 67 straight games with that team, didn't he?
Sounds about right.
I think that's right. Well, now the hitter is a man over 400 on the season, Tony Fernandez. Of course, the year that Joe D hit in 56 consecutive games, Ted Williams hit 406. Tony Fernandez late on that pitch from David Cone, 0-1.
I think in watching the tribute and following the career of Joe DiMaggio, he carried himself with such a grace and elegance, and I think that's where the Yankee franchise got that reputation. Remember when fans used to come in coat and tie and top coat? I mean, it was really an upscale crowd that came to the Yankee games back in Joe D's day because of his grace and elegance that he brought to the playing field.
They were an occasion. Fernandez goes out to left. Leday first came in, now steps back and pulls it out of the sun. So David Cone strands 1. We're heading to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Blue Jays 1, the Yankees nothing. Yankees wrapping up a very successful homestand here today at Yankee Stadium. Then they take to the road for their longest road trip of the year. Then they're back home to take on Ken Griffey Jr. and the Seattle Mariners May 7, 8, and 9. Included in that weekend, I believe, is the first of 2 Beanie Baby days. And it's against the Anaheim Angels May 11, 12, and 13. Then the Chicago White Sox come in. A long homestand here at the stadium. Tickets are available at the Yankee Stadium ticket windows through Ticketmaster at 212-307-1212 and the Yankees.com worldwide website. Well, for the Yankees, it'll be Derek Jeter, Paul O'Neill, and Bernie Williams. Derek Jeter hit the ball right on the screws. Unfortunately, it was right at third baseman Tony Fernandez. Kelvin Escobar has done the job. The first time through, all he gave up was 1 walk, striking out 3 Yankees so far on the day. This is a really impressive display of pitching that the Blue Jays put out there day after day, Jim.
Young, hard throwers. Not just their starters, but guys out of the bullpen as well. I mean, get your attention.
I don't know if that's going to look as close on the replay as it may have seemed live.
Well, Kenny and I kid about all the armor that hitters wear, and that's
that was
one of
pretty
the
tight.
Yeah, but that's one of the reasons. Here's what it looked like to Derek Jeter. Is the first move. The first move of hitters is into the ball. They dive into the ball. Which years ago they didn't. No, that's just out of their aggressive nature, and that's why they wear the wrist guards and the elbow guards, because if the ball does come in there and they can't get out of the way, they got some protection.
Jeter fouls the 2-0 pitch back to the screen. It's really amazing when you think about it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, you can see why Kenny was pointing out the stats on Escobar. As hard as he throws, he's given up more than a hit per inning. And if he does fall behind like he has right here to Jeter, his fastball is pretty straight. So if you can get him in a hitter's count like this, 2-1, 3-0, and get that fastball, make some contact, it's going to go a ways.
He grips up for the 2-1. Jeter smacks this one hard and deep. Back at the wall, it's off it. Green plays it in. Derek Jeter scoots and slides, successful with a double. Derek Jeter just missing tying this ball game, and he's in scoring position for Paul O'Neill.
The 4-seam fastball, not a lot of movement, and at 95 to 96 miles an hour, you make a little contact, it'll go a long way. As Al said, just about a foot from being Jeter's 6th home run of the year, and the reaction from the Yankee bench, their first hit.
Well, they're into it down there on the Yankee bench, that's for certain. And if Paul O'Neill doesn't get a hit, I'm afraid he may explode. I mean, he's 2 for 28. It's driving him nuts. And here he's got a chance to tie the game. Let's see what he does. As Jim so expertly pointed out, the hitters count favored Derek Jeter, and he cashed in. The stadium buzzing now. Ball 1.
Paul's usually a little testy when he's 1 for 7.
He's testy when he's 3 for 4.
I mean,
he's mad about the one he didn't get.
Being 2 for 27.
Jeter 10 feet off the second base bag. Escobar takes his time. 2 balls and no strikes. And you really think about it, Jim. Paul O'Neill's not hitting. Tino's not hitting. Jorge Posada's not hitting. Ricky Leday's not hitting. Whoever's in the 9th spot's not hitting, and they're 11-5.
Chili Davis is hitting, and the Yankee pitchers are pitching.
That's the big thing. 11-5 matches the record that the Yankees had last year at this same point. 2-0 pitch.
Yeah, Jeter with a little jockeying now at second base is unnerving Escobar. He gets a man on second. First hit of the ball game he allows, he's becoming a different pitcher. The whole pace is slowing down. Very, very tentative approach to Paul O'Neill, and he hasn't found the strike zone with one.
Could he be thinking that walking Paul O'Neill may not be such a bad idea just from a force standpoint?
Nah, I don't think so. I think he's just paying too much attention to Jeter, and 1-0 game.
Once again, he looks at Jeter.
It's easy to say and harder to do, but as a pitcher, you get a base runner, you still have to pitch almost like there's nobody on base. You really can't change your approach and start getting defensive. Guys like Bernie Williams and O'Neill, Jeter, they'll take advantage of that. More hits you give up, the more aggressive you have to be to try to get ahead of hitters.
Bouncing ball played by Gonzalez. Well, O'Neill will advance the runner. I don't know if that'll satisfy him, but he does the job. What minor league team did Joe DiMaggio play for prior to joining the Yankees? That would be the San Francisco Seals.
You got it.
And that's where Jim Fregosi grew up and fell in love with DiMaggio as a player. And now the beauty of Yankee Stadium, as the man who occupies Joe DiMaggio's position stands exactly where Joe D stood. Bernie Williams. Who more appropriate than Bernie Williams on this day to have a big day? Fly ball ties the game if it's deep enough.
Bernie Williams in the 4 spot. Al, the Yankees are the only team in the major leagues who have used those top 4 spots the same way every game. You start Knobloch, Jeter, O'Neill, and Bernie Williams. Now, Don Zimmer will rotate Tino Martinez and Chili Davis from game to game, but those first 4 have been the same every game. Only team in the big leagues to do that.
Coming into today, Bernie was amazingly consistent right side, left side. He was hitting .308 from the right side and .306 from the left side. It's pretty much how he was last year as well. We still have not seen the power. His only home run of the season came from hitting this way from the left side of the plate. Right now, Jeter's about 86 feet from home plate. Escobar's ready. Now Bernie is. Just another little piece. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Now your approach, if you're Bernie Williams, 1-0 game, Jeter at third.
Bernie's mission here is to get that run in somehow, some way.
See, the infield is back, and so with 2 strikes, any little ground ball that you hit is going to get the run home. If you could just pull it toward first base, it'll be a productive out and an RBI. So you become a defensive hitter right here.
And Bernie goes for it. The pitch was low, but it's a strikeout, and a big one it was for Kelvin Escobar.
Now Escobar with a lot of confidence against Bernie Williams. Bernie was 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts coming into this game, and in a spring training game this year, he really made him look ordinary. You see how Bernie went out after that ball to try to make contact, and you just credit Escobar with a perfect pitcher's pitch in that situation.
So now it's up to Tino Martinez to try and save Derek Jeter's leadoff double. Be ashamed to waste that from a Yankee standpoint. Tino's hitting .232 with 1 home run and 4 runs driven in. Exactly opposite to the way he started last year. Last year he started hot. So he's trying something new. Coming into this game, opponents were hitting .300 off of Kelvin Escobar. And in spite of that, he was 2-0.
Well, here's that same situation we talked about with Jeter. He got ahead of Bernie Williams, put him away, got ahead of O'Neill. Tino Martinez is a high ball hitter. That's not the norm for lefties. They usually hit the low ball. So this is a perfect matchup for Tino. Chances are he's going to get that 4-seam fastball, and if it's around the belt or up, he should have a pretty aggressive swing at it.
And once again, a 3-ball and no strike count to Tino Martinez. So far, the Yankees have not been true to form on this day. They've been averaging almost 6 runs a game when David Cone starts the last 4 years.
Took a long look at Willie Randolph. Tino, one of those hitters, even if he gets the hit sign, he doesn't swing at 3-0 pitches very often.
Lays off it, and once again, as he did with
some hitters, Al, when they get the hit sign 3-0, just don't feel comfortable swinging. They feel like maybe they'd overswing and hit a weak little pop-up or something, which is what you don't want to do on a 3-0 pitch.
Tino walks. The Yankees have 2 on for Chili Davis. Not a scenario that Kelvin Escobar wanted to see at all. Runs on the bases with a big run producer at the plate.
And if Chili Davis is true to his form that he's done all year, yes, he has been red hot. Escobar's thrown only 5 first pitch strikes. He's been getting behind the hitters consistently, but at Chili's age, what you do is you try to get that bat started, or you try to cheat on the fastball. Hitters will say, I'll get that bat started a little bit faster. There's a nice little note.
The oldest Yankee to hit a home run since Jose Cruz Sr. at age 40. How ironic, his son in this ball game. Davis lays off the low fastball, so it's 1-0.
The youngest Yankee to ever hit a home run is our broadcasting colleague, Bobby Ray Mercer.
Really?
19 and change.
That Jose Cruz Sr. home run came, by the way, in July of 1988. 1-0 pitch to Chili Davis. Hits it hard, high, and foul.
That might be where Chili is going to have to go if he's going to touch up Escobar. Fastball mid to upper 90s, and Chili's been their best in these situations. Runners in scoring position, that splitter goes down and away, so a veteran hitter like Chili might just rule out that inside part of the plate and say, I'm going the other way. Try to hit it to left field.
The inning started with a leadoff double to Derek Jeter. That's 2 balls and a strike. A hitter's count coming up for Chili Davis. Then Escobar got Paul O'Neill to ground out, advancing Jeter to third. Bernie Williams struck out. Tino Martinez walked.
How about those? Chili's for Chili.
So we've got Chili's and cones, and
they got it all here, don't they?
It's a powerful thing to have experience on your side like Chili Davis. Hits the ball hard, heading down toward the corner. That's a fair ball. Chili Davis does it again. He ties the game. Derek Jeter gets the green light to go home. Here comes Tino. The throw is late. Yankees take the lead. It was badly backed up, and Chili Davis can advance to third. Chili Davis. Well, they used up all the good headlines in today's papers. They're going to have to find some others.
They'll come up with more. Nice approach by Chili. They do go outside. You can tell by his eyes. That's what he had in mind, is to take the ball the other way. Even with the speed of Shannon Stewart, he could not get over and make the play. And the Blue Jays a little sloppy in making the cutoff throw, and that enables Tino Martinez. You don't think of Tino as a fast runner, but he's looking down in the corner, never breaks stride, gets the green light from Willie Randolph, and scores the lead run. And Escobar not backing up third base, allowed the throw to get through, and Chili Davis advances to third, or not backing up the plate, rather.
Chili Davis now has 18 RBIs. We'll make it 19 RBIs. Ultra clutch once again, and Kelvin Escobar's got to be kicking himself. He was so close to getting out of that jam, but then he got behind in the count. Here are the 2 Yankees who scored. Now it's up to Jorge Posada.
When you're struggling, they always make the good pitches on you. I mean, here he is. He falls behind everybody else. Red hot Chili, and he makes a perfect pitch to Posada.
Jorge Posada is 0 for 21 from the left side of the plate this season. Davis all the way to third on the throw. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jorge Posada. Good eye there. It's one of those days where you'd almost find it impossible to not be a baseball fan.
Wow. Nothing like the treatment put on by the Yankees to honor their former greats.
once again, Escobar gets behind, 3-1.
He has become a different pitcher ever since Derek Jeter hit the double. They turned on his fastball a couple times, and that'll shock a young pitcher a little bit. Now he's quit pitching. He's just throwing. He's throwing like, I hope I can get it in the strike zone.
And Jorge Posada draws the 2-out walk. That'll bring up Ricky Leday. I was talking to David Wells before this game, and I said, boy, David, you guys could really do something. You have a good young team. He said, yeah, we just got to go through it a couple of times. So, you know, you're talking about Escobar allowing the double to change him. These are things they have to go through a few times.
Dan Plesac, the veteran reliever who gave up the game winner yesterday, said it was the brawl that they had with the Yankees last year when Clemens hit Brocious that sort of brought this team together, relaxed him a bit. They've been one of the best teams in baseball ever since then. Toughest time to throw a strike is when you have to throw a strike. You know, you're expected to throw one, and that's what's going through Escobar's mind right now. If Mel Queen could just run out there and say, young man, just think about throwing a ground ball. Think about pitching and not throwing. He might get right back on track.
That's a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. How would you explain the difference to somebody between a thrower and a pitcher?
Well, a pitcher is one that tries to make the hitter hit the ball, and a pitcher is one, or thrower is one that, what Escobar is doing right now, is trying to make the hitter miss the ball. You just throw it. Like Sandy Koufax said, I became a great pitcher when I started trying to make the hitter hit the ball. Make it put your thought process, like right now, hey, throw a ground ball. Here's a strike. Let the movement on the ball take over. And when you're struggling, you're saying, I can't let him hit it. I can't let him hit it. Then you reach back and you overthrow. You don't get as much on the ball. And you're a thrower and not a pitcher.
Three balls and a strike. David Cohn has said that one of the toughest things he had to learn was in a big situation, everything in your body says you want to reach back and throw the hardest darn fastball you ever threw in your life.
Sure.
And he said, when I finally realized that less was more, I got somewhere.
Sure, on the bench they'll say, hey, go hard now, go hard. Well, sometimes going hard is a good changeup. And David Cohn, of course, when he won the Cy Young Award in 1994, made the quote. He said, I started learning about getting hitters out with 1 pitch instead of 8. That's kind of fun. Throw a little medium speed fastball in there and get a pop-up.
Leday fouls it off. Well, David Cohn has got to feel like, all right, we're a third of the way there. They're going to get me the usual 6 runs. We got the 2. Since 1995, he's had the 2nd highest run support, only to Jamie Moyer. How about this? It's the highest for any Yankees pitcher since Red Ruffing from 1930 to 1946.
He got that support from Joe D back then. That's where Ruffing got his support, run support.
Full count delivery, runner off, and it's fouled off to the left side. I bet David Cohn got a kick of seeing Bob Shepard announce the starting lineup for the 1951 World Series, because there was number 36, Johnny Mize.
David is one of those players in today's game that can be concentrating on getting ready for a game and yet soak up all of the activities that were going on prior to the game as well and thoroughly enjoy them.
I mentioned Johnny Mize wearing number 36, Cohn's number as well. By the way, that is the most common number worn by players in the major leagues. I don't know why, it just is. Another foul ball by Ricky Leday.
Nice situation for Ricky Leday here to try to get some run production going with Chile at third and Posada at first, because in this full count situation, every time Escobar has been behind, he's had to come in with that cross seam fastball, which is hard but doesn't have a lot of movement on it, and the Yankees have made pretty good contact with him.
This has been a long inning. I mean, Derek Jeter was on third base for like 10 minutes. And Ricky Leday swings and misses to the groans of the crowd. However, the Yankees get to and strand to. Derek Jeter started it all off with a double, and Chili Davis drove him home. Yankees 2, Blue Jays 1. We are back at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees with the same exact record as they had a year ago at this point, and of course we all know what they went on and did. And we've documented it all, from spring training to the parade. It's all part of the 1998 Yankees, the season of their lives video. It's now $13.95 plus shipping and handling, and the number to call is 1-800-637-8172. Al Troutwig back at the most historic place in sports with Susan Waldman, and we can't stop talking about what we witnessed here today. All we can say is we will never forget it.
And the great thing about that is that Toronto manager Jim Fregosi made that very young team stand out on the steps even when they didn't have to, because he said, in 20 years, I want you to be able to tell your children that you were there. And that is something, he said, this is something that you have to learn. These kids have to learn the value of tradition in this game. And so every single one of them was on that bench when this started at 1 o'clock. I cried for a half an hour. It was just absolutely spectacular.
And any one of those young players who thought that watching the Cartoon Network in the clubhouse was a better place to be, you should go up to Jim Fregosi and say thanks. David Cohn's got a lead 2-1. Once again, Chili Davis coming through. The DH for the Toronto Blue Jays is Willie Green. He flied out to left field in his first at bat.
Willie Green, on his third organization, was with Baltimore and Cincinnati. He can play a little third, play a little second, play a little outfield, but most of the things that he does is with the bat. He was supposed to be the third baseman when Tom Evans, their highly touted rookie, got hurt. Jim Fregosi went and got Dave Hollins. He's out for 4 to 6 weeks. Tony Fernandez moves to third, and here's Willie Green as a DH. David
Cohn's got 3 World Series rings, 2 courtesy of the Yankees and 1 when he was with the Toronto Blue Jays. That's fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Blue Jays were World Series winners in 1992 and 93. When you consider that we're not yet done with the century, and I don't know that they're going to challenge and win a world championship, at least you have the belief that as they are now constituted, they're competitive, very competitive.
They're well on their way, and they were better the second that Jim Fregosi walked in the door.
Popped up left side. One out in the glove of Derek Jeter.
Good sign for David Cohn that his pitches are moving so that the pitch is now being popped up instead of lined.
Darren Fletcher grounded into a double play to end the second inning. I don't know, Susan, if there's anything I love more than being here when the ballpark is filled with fans and it looks like this.
Now, 50,000 people here to see this. There's nothing like this park when it's full.
I mean, look at that. Our director, Bill Webb, and our producer, Leon Schweier, are having a very good day.
A lot of artsy shot, a lot of esoteric shots. The tulips, the monument through the tulips.
Fouled straight back.
How about Paul Simon standing in center field?
And how about those pictures from our camera out there in center field? Cameraman Dave Chesney on the scene, and the woman who largely coordinated the entire ceremony runs the marketing department here at the stadium for the Yankees, Debbie Timon. She deserves a lot of credit.
Of course, those were the 2 number 5s right on the field. Usually have the Yankee logo. Number 5, a very special logo today.
Don't you wish you could have the Yankee grounds crew come out to your house and, like, you know, put logos on your lawn? And
well, they do in my house.
They do?
Yeah.
You have an NY on your
like
lawn?
that.
Another foul ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Darren Fletcher. Of course, on the Major Deegan, we may never get home after this. But
well, we're going to be here a long time. You know, we can go out to Monument Park afterwards.
Okay.
Members of the media, if you've got your credential.
Out to right field, Paul O'Neill coming on, and he's got it in stride. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning. Let's see what else is going on in baseball now. The Boston Red Sox leading Cleveland 3-1. Some bad blood boiling in that series. They're in the top of the 8th inning at Fenway. Oakland leads Baltimore 6-2, and I want to tell you, I watched a little of that game last night. The Orioles look like they're done.
They really do, don't they? And that is not good for Ray Miller.
Anaheim and Kansas City postponed.
Now let me guess, just a guess here. If Cleveland has 1 run, that must mean that Pedro Martinez is pitching for the Red Sox. That's just a guess here.
Well, let's look it up, Susan.
Because he's the only one on that staff that can hold them to 1 run.
And Susan, you would be correct.
There we go.
It started out Bartolo Colon and Pedro Martinez. Down the line and right, it is a foul ball off the bat of Alex Gonzalez.
Gonzalez really off to a good start, Al, with the bat. That was one of the things that you heard about Gonzalez, that he was a spectacular shortstop, made great plays, but then made some kinds of errors on simple plays and couldn't hit. Well, he's batting .310, already has 9 RBIs.
It made that little guy's day.
Did you ever get a ball when you were a little kid?
No, it's a sore spot with me. I never even came close.
Did you bring your glove every day?
Yeah, all the time. You know, like I'd go to the hot dog stand when I came back, the guy next to me would have a ball. You know? Cohen misses with the fastball, so it's 3 balls and a strike to Alex Gonzalez. Base is clear. Yankees up 2-1.
You were the guy on the left who didn't get the ball, right? This guy has the ball.
Oh, and he hit him. That ball just kept on coming in. Second hit batsman of the game for David Cone.
Tailed up and in, and you saw that Cone knew as soon as he released the ball that that was going to tail way inside. You can tell by his release point that he doesn't like that at all, and he can see it right there. It's high, tailing up and in, hits him on the back.
Right on the Z. So Gonzalez is a 2-out base runner here at the stadium. And now the challenge is Pat Kelly.
Pat Kelly hit 2 home runs in a game on Thursday night, and he got home, Al, and there was a message from his buddy Mark McGuire that said, congratulations on your 2 home runs. Give me a call. Give me some tips on how to hit these home runs.
And Pat did return that call.
Yes, he did.
Kelly watches ball 1. He's getting this chance to play because another ex-Yankee, Homer Bush, is on the disabled list with a fractured finger.
And the backup to Homer is going to be Craig Grayback. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen when both of them come back, but Pat Kelly's trying to make the most of this opportunity, batting .308 starting into the day.
Runner going, the throw by Posada is in plenty of time. So Kelly will start the 6th inning for Toronto when they get back to the plate. But Jorge Posada comes up firing. He takes enormous pride in this aspect of his contribution to the team as he erases the Blue Jays here in the 5th. MSG's presentation of the world champion New York Yankees is brought to you in part by Jeep and your tri-state Jeep dealers. Jeep, the most award-winning brand of 4x4s on earth. And by Teligent, bringing small and mid-sized companies local, long-distance, and high-speed internet, all from one company, all on one bill. Al Trautwig with Susan Waldman, bottom of the 5th inning. For the Yankees, it'll be Clay Bellinger, Chuck Knobloch, Derek Jeter. Bellinger hitting .214 with his first 3 major league hits coming as a member of the Yankees at age 30. No balls and 2 strikes.
And you see right away that Escobar has 2 quick strikes on Bellinger, something he was not able to do in the 4th inning. He was not throwing first pitch strikes at all. So obviously Mel Queen and Jim Fregosi had a couple of things to say to him when he sat down. Jim Fregosi was telling me before the game, Al, that he thinks Escobar is going to end up being a #1 or #2 at the worst starter in somebody's rotation, obviously theirs at the moment, but he just thinks he's terrific.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Of course, when you look around the American League, if you wanted to rate pitching staffs, I think you'd give the Yankees #1 without much argument. Who would be your #2 pitching staff in the American League?
Well, it would, if all goes according to plan, it's got to be Toronto.
This might be,
absolutely. Absolutely.
And Escobar gets Bellinger swinging. That'll be strikeout number 6.
And that's that very devastating splitter that that Kelvin Escobar has, and that's why he was such a good reliever, Al, because he throws a 95-mile-an-hour fastball and then can finish you off with that split on the outside part of the plate, which he did to Bellinger, and he had absolutely no shot at that.
He's made some Yankees look bad today, lunging for that pitch. Well, now it's up to Chuck Knobloch. He has hit 2 balls hard. Both wound up being caught in the outfield, one to center and one to right.
One thing that Escobar has not allowed the Yankees to do, and we saw it yesterday and the day before, particularly against David Wells, they're not working the count. It's hard to work the count when you've got this guy with this kind of stuff and throwing first pitch strikes, which he did not do there.
Well, the hits that really hurt Escobar were the double of Jeter and the double of Chili Davis, and both times he got behind in the count. And Jim Cott made the mention of, you know, how seriously that damages what you can do, because now suddenly you have to come back over the plate. Pat Kelly off the belly button, and there are 2 Yankees out here in the 5th. Now we're going to take you through the National League. Chicago's leading the Mets 5-3 at Wrigley there in the 5th inning. Cincinnati leads Houston 7-5. They're in the 7th. Milwaukee leads Pittsburgh at 3 Rivers. They're in the 8th. Montreal and Philadelphia tied at 4 in the 9th. And there you have it. Now it's Derek Jeter with the bases empty and 2 outs.
Coming after Jeter, Al, the same way he came after Knobloch with that high fastball.
Let's see, who was that?
Soho.
Luis Soho. Boy, you think it was 25 degrees here looking at Luis.
Well, he's not used to this weather.
I mean, I know it's not Venezuela, but hit hard and deep. Derek Jeter to the wall. Off the top of the wall, right in front of Monument Park. And Jeter's got his 2nd double of the game.
And that missed a home run by about 3 inches.
Which means he's missed 2 home runs by about 2 feet. That gets Zimmer up onto the field.
Now this is a breaking pitch that Escobar throws high and breaks down right in the zone for Derek Jeter, and he hits this a mile. That is 400 feet. Let's see if we can tell where this lands. Looks like it's going to land right on top of the wall, Al, and does bounce back in. Now I think Zimmer is trying to figure out, did it hit the top of the wall or did it hit in back of there, right there, that little place there.
I think it hit the top of the wall, Susan, don't you?
Yeah, I do, but it's very possible that they think that it hit just that little T on the other side of it and came back, which is actually over the top of the wall. It did hit the top of the wall.
Anyway, it takes an awful lot for Don Zimmer to run, and he actually ran with that bad knee of his out onto the field to talk this over with Tim Welke. So you have one wall coming into another wall, forming that T, and you know, maybe it's the Yankees feel that it hits something beyond the wall now.
And bounce back onto the wall. Off of the wall. You can't, but how can they tell? Even if the umpire is out there, how can you tell from field level whether it bounced over the wall or hit on top of the wall?
I don't think they could. I don't know how Don Zimmer could feel so strongly about it from where he's watching the game.
Right, this is where they think it hit, which was right in there. But it looks like it hits right on the wall there.
I think that's pretty conclusive.
That's a pretty good call.
Well, it doesn't change the fact that Derek Jeter has just been phenomenal. And Derek Jeter looks out there in left center field. You know, it used to be called Death Valley. That home run died about an inch short.
He said, oh, gosh.
Now it's Paul O'Neill. What did he tell you today, Susan? That's it. He's done. He's given up.
Done. Well, he was telling Yogi Berra. This is great. O'Neill and Yogi talking, kidding, in the Yankee clubhouse before the game. And see, Paul goes through. I stink. I'm finished. I can't play anymore.
Escobar way high. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And Hank Bauer was telling Yogi, yeah, you remember there was one guy you couldn't hear. Remember that when you went through that slump? They were talking old days. And
Paul O'Neill, merely a shadow of himself.
You know, we're laughing, but this guy is so good and he cares so much that he wants to get a hit or at least help the team any way he can every single time up.
Ball 2. Well, here we're in that same situation where Kelvin Escobar gets behind to a really great hitter. And slump or no slump, Paul O'Neill's going to get most pitchers when they get behind in the count.
And one of the things that O'Neill is still doing, and this is not a small thing, Al, he is working the count. He's still working the count. He's not swinging out of the zone. He's not swinging at bad pitches, as so many people do when they get into a slump.
Aaron O'Neill goes lunging for that. Looked like a slider. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Yankees have 2 runs. Bernie Williams is on deck, hopes to get a chance.
The pitch has the break of a split, just drops straight down. It's got a good one.
High drive, short left center field. And that'll do it. O'Neill frustrated again. They strand Derek Jeter at second base. I'll see you on the postgame with Michael Kay. Ken Singleton joins Susan Waldman in a moment on MSG.
Well, we're cruising along, and so is where's the captain of that ship? 2-1 Yankees as we head to the top of the 6th inning here at the stadium. Very entertaining ball game. David Cone working against Kelvin Escobar, and both pitchers doing an excellent job. Yankees 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors, and for the Jays just 1 run, 1 hit that David Cone has allowed and 1 error. Well, how about a change of pace tonight on Fox Sports Net New York? It's an 8 o'clock tip-off at the Meadowlands as the Nets battle Reggie Miller and the Pacers. And tomorrow, the Knicks are on the road for an important matchup against the Charlotte Hornets. A 7:30 start right here on MSG. Knicks need each and every game. Then on Tuesday, catch game 4, the Devils and the Penguins battle on PAX TV. 7:30 face-off in Pittsburgh. It's all coming up this week. Please check your local listings. Former Yankee Pat Kelly's going to lead it off against David Cone here in the 6th inning. Ken Singleton along now with Susan Waldman. And Susan, this has been a well-pitched game by both of these.
Well, you're seeing the old veteran David Cone giving up just that 1 hit, the off-field home run to Sean Green in the first inning that Cone was at least a little bit surprised at here.
It looked like that foul ball got a piece of Jorge Posada. Let's take another look.
Ooh, right in the chest.
Right in the middle of the chest. And although those chest protectors allow some protection, you can see that still shook him up. And Mike Riley, the home plate umpires, as the home plate umpire will do, he'll give the catcher time, and if it's the umpire gets hurt, the catcher will give the umpire time to recover.
Posada saying, I'm okay, I'm all right.
The only 2 people in foul territory on the field.
Never thought about that.
0-2 pitch is on the way, and it's up and in. Kelly straightens him up.
You know, you talked about these 2 pitchers, and what you're seeing is the old veteran and the young and up-and-comer. And I was talking to Al before. Fregosi thinks that Escobar is going to be probably a #1 starter, #2 at worst. But he can get a good lesson in watching Mr. Cone. Cone had 72 pitches through 5 innings.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Kelly. Well, they've got some choices for #1, don't they, over there at Carpenter? Escobar, as this pitch is fouled off by Kelly. Now towards the line, and all O'Neill is going to get is a look at as it heads to the seats. Count remains 2-2.
They're not there yet. David Wells is obviously the #1 starter right now until Henkin gets really back on track. But you see flashes of it. You saw Roy Halladay and why he is going to be a great starter, but you saw he gets a little flustered when the Yankees work the count. That's going to happen. You saw Escobar get a little flustered. That's what happens with young pitchers.
The same thing. Experience is the best teacher. And they're getting experience at the big leagues firsthand. 2-2 pitch, way outside. And the count will go full to Pat Kelly. He'll be followed by Shannon Stewart at the top of the order, then Jose Cruz Jr.
To me also, Kenny, they've got the perfect manager and pitching coach for that, and that's Jim Fregosi and Mel Queen. Both veterans, been around. Nothing phases Fregosi.
Payoff pitch hit in the air to right field. Coming on is O'Neill. A few steps over towards the line, puts it away, and Kelly is flat out on a 3-2 pitch. Here's our New York Marriott Marquee matchup.
Calvin Escobar and David Cone threw 5 innings, 3 hits for Calvin, 1 for Cone, 1 earned run. For Escobar, those 6 walks, 3 strikeouts, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks, the other way around, and also for Cone, 3 and 1.
Blue Jays scoring in the first inning, their lone run, and the Yankees 2 in the 4th. As Stewart hits a high fly ball down the left field line, this could be trouble if it's fair, but it is a foul ball.
Almost in the same place as where Sean Green hit his, over in that left field corner.
This Stewart, I think, is going to become a heck of a ball player. You already know about his speed, his ability to run, but I think when he gets more experience as a hitter, he might drop out of that leadoff spot. He'll become too powerful to bat first.
I think that's what they're hoping for.
After hitting a ball almost into the seats, he tries to lay down a bunt, and it's strike 2. That is Mel Stoudemire, who is holding the pitch counter, keeping track of the pitches thrown by David Cone in today's game.
What he's also learned, Kenny, Shannon Stewart, is not to strike out as much as he did when he first came up. And he's become a very valuable leadoff hitter in that way. Also has become a pretty good fielder. This outfield, which people laughed at last year with Stewart and Green and Jose Cruz Jr., has turned out to be a wonderful outfield. And you can thank a guy who's now back in the Yankee staff, Jack Hubbard, who's a scout for the Yankees, was outfield coach for Toronto last year for that, and the way they worked out.
Slow roller, and Stewart is thrown out by Bellinger. That was Cone's 83rd pitch. Nice play by the Yankee third baseman. There's Alex Gonzalez, who's being attended to by the veteran Blue Jay trainer, Tommy Craig.
Stretching out that left shoulder. We've seen in this series Bellinger and Soho just doing yeoman jobs at third base. Clay Bellinger getting a chance to play in the major leagues for the first time in 10 years.
Breaking ball is in there for a strike to Jose Cruz Jr. 2 outs, nobody on, top of the 6th inning. Yankees up by a run, 2-1.
Another kid who has obviously grown up under the tutelage of Jim Fregosi very, very quickly. Has 6 RBIs already and 2 homers, playing a fine center field. They moved him back and forth from center to left, from center to left. Finally, Fregosi just put him in center and let the kid play.
0-1 pitch drilled to the seats. That's a tough souvenir. Count is 0-2. Originally, he was under the tutelage of his father, Jose Cruz Sr.,
right.
though, yeah.
Sometimes that's not a good thing.
Yeah. Well, you know, the dad could put a lot of pressure on him. And maybe just think of what it's like to be a ball player, and your father's already been in the major leagues and have a long, successful career.
Absolutely.
Something you have to live up to.
And it took the Blue Jays organization a while to convince him.
Curveball swung on and missed. Posada applies the tag. Cruz is out. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for David Cone here in the top of the 6th. Nothing across for the Jays. Yep, that's strikeout number 4. At the end of 5 1/2, the Yankees lead 2-1. Calvin Escobar ready to go here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 2-1. Yet another historic day in the Bronx. And David Cone gets the opportunity to pitch on Joe DiMaggio Day, and doing a fine job of it too.
51,900.
But David Cone is putting his jacket on, and I wonder, is anybody warming up the Yankee pen?
Looking out there.
Yeah.
Someone's out there.
I don't know if he is done for the day or not. Bernie Williams going to lead it off here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The first pitch is bounced towards the middle on into center field. And that's a leadoff single for Bernie Williams, his first hit of the day. And hit number 4 for the Yankees off of Kelvin Escobar. Well, Stoudemire going to the phone, and you know, when David Cone heads out and back to the clubhouse and with a 2-1 lead, hopefully there's no cause for concern, but we'll try and find out what the problem is with David Cone as Hideki Irabu begins to warm up in the Yankee bullpen.
All right, Cone had thrown 86 pitches. That's not enough to get him out of the game. Maybe with the chilly weather, he was having trouble getting loose.
Well, he threw in the opening game of the series in a night game against Texas and went
Right, and it was
eight
pretty
innings.
cold.
Yeah. Here's Tino, who's walked twice, scored a run, scoring that run in the 4th inning, the second of the Yankee 2 runs. Bernie Williams, pretty good lead over at first base. It's upstairs for ball 1. Well, before the game, Bernie Williams, you know, his musical endeavors that he has. He plays the guitar in the Yankee clubhouse.
And there's Bernie with Paul Simon. He made a beeline out to center field to talk to Paul Simon.
2 balls and no strikes on Tito Martinez.
They were sharing guitar stories. Bernie met Paul Simon during Cape Man, the musical that Paul wrote. And Bernie went out there and he said he was remarkable. He was just doing this with a wireless, and he's going to sing in center field with just a guitar.
2-0 pitch is on the way to Tito Martinez, and that's a call strike. You know, when they mentioned that the song that mentions Joe DiMaggio, here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. 1968.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that kind of threw me.
I know it. I remember sitting through that movie 3 straight times.
From the movie The Graduate, starring Dustin Hoffman. 2 balls and 1 strike. Yankees threatening here in the bottom of the 6th inning. They lead by 1. Checking on Bernie over at first base. We're talking about the young Blue Jay pitchers. Kelvin Escobar is 23. Roy Halladay is 21. Chris Carpenter is 23. No other staff in the majors has 3 starting pitchers that young. And maybe not that talented. Strike 2, and it's 2-2 on Tito Martinez.
And Escobar actually started in the bullpen, and then Joey Hamilton got hurt. But I think Fragosi's going to keep him in the rotation no matter what. He's going to be a very, very good pitcher.
Well, the Indians have Bartolo Colon and Jared Wright. Minnesota, Eric Milton and Ben Sampson. 2 young pitchers in their rotation. Off-speed pitch, swung on it, missed strike 3, and Tito's out of there. Strikeout number 7 for Kelvin Escobar.
And there's that break that is so devastating, particularly to a lefty.
It's chilly in here. That's true. Chili Davis drove in both runs in the 4th inning with an opposite field double.
To listen to, these are great.
Yeah.
The Chili Peppers, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. To listen to Chili Ken talk about switch hitting and how you have to work on both sides so that his stats are almost dead even from both sides of the plate.
Tell me about it. Yeah.
How hard is that to do?
Well, you got to make sure that you get some swings from the side that you're not scheduled to play on that day. You know, if you're facing a right, you got to make sure you take some right-handed swings. Now, we saw Chili get a double into the left field corner batting left-hand. In the other game the other night, he hit a double batting right-handed into the right field corner, drove in a couple of runs. So it shows you that he's taking what the pitchers are giving him. His swing is almost identically the same right now from both sides of the plate. So he is really, as you can say, a red-hot Chili.
He said that he is very aware that he does not want the opposing manager to be able to turn him or bring in a pitcher in order to turn him around. Were you always thinking that?
Well, you know what helped me, though? And this is something I don't know if the fans out there have thought about over the years, but sometimes managers would not turn me around to the other side because I had Eddie Murray batting behind me, who to me was the best switch hitter that I've ever played with. And if that means you're facing 2 switch hitters, you're not going to get both of us. You might get one of us, but not both. So that limited managers' moves. They were on that top step. They didn't know what to do. 0-1 the count on Chili Davis. Bernie Williams leading, and the pitch is low, and it's a ball and a strike.
Because we hear so many times you don't want to turn Bernie Williams around and have him hit from the right side. But you never hear a manager say, well, Chili's better from one side or the other. You can't turn him around.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, even if a manager knew I was cold from one side,
well,
then he's got to deal with Eddie Murray next. There is Don Zimmer, who had to deal with Eddie Murray plenty of times when he was with the Red Sox. Be interesting to see what the Jays do here. It looks like they're going to try and keep the ball away, and it's low, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Escobar, 7 strikeouts on the day. 6 of them have been of the swinging variety, which tells you when he gets you the 2 strikes, it's the splitter. There goes Bernie. It pitches outside to throw by Fletcher to second. He is not in time. Bernie Williams picks up a stolen base.
Good slide underneath the tag, and it was a pretty decent throw from Darren Fletcher. He's not known for his throwing out of runners prowess. Pretty decent throw right on line. Decent tag, but Bernie gets underneath it.
Looks like he got that left foot in there just ahead, and once again the reaction of our catcher.
He says, that's the best throw I made all day. But watch that sliding foot. Gets right underneath there. That's a really good slide.
For Bernie, his first stolen base of the year. And by doing so, he is taking the bat out of the hand of Chili Davis on the 3-1 pitch. So that's an intentional walk. Escobar's 4th walk of the day. So Chili will trot down to first. That'll bring up Jorge Posada. Now, it's interesting, early in the season, when teams were passing Tino Martinez to get to Chili Davis and Chili drove in some runs, he said it really fired him up to have the opposing team walk Tino to get to him. Let's see how this affects Mr. Posada, who's looking for his first hit left-handed on the season.
Someone who could use a little firing up. But doesn't that just take the bat out of Chili Davis's hand?
It does, but the idea, I think, was not only the stolen base, but the fact is the way that Chili's been hitting. Put the ball in play, get a hit. Bernie might score from first base as he did the other night. This next pitch will be number 100 on the afternoon for Mr. Escobar. And he steps off. Other pitchers from Venezuela. Omar Dahl, who's really done a good job for the Diamondbacks. Veteran Wilson Alvarez with Tampa Bay. Freddie Garcia of Seattle. Jeremy Gonzalez with the Cubs is on the DL, and probably the hardest thrower of them all from Venezuela. Swing and a miss by Posada. Throws even harder than Escobar. Huguet Urbina of the Montreal Expos. He's got some fire. He's their closer up there. Peter Monroe warming up in the Blue Jays bullpen.
Peter Monroe came over from the Red Sox. Mike Stanley deal.
Keeping it down on Posada, and he swings through it, and it's no balls and 2 strikes.
So those are the same 2 pitches, Kenny, that Posada swung through both of them for both strikes.
I think getting a little anxious here. With a chance to drive in some runs. Escobar well ahead on the count, 0-2. Why not throw another one down there? Count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Yankees looking to sweep not only this series, but sweep the homestand. They took the first 2 from the Texas Rangers in the 2-game series, and now trying to make it 3 in a row over the Toronto Blue Jays. David Cohn back on the bench. Another splitter, and he strikes out Posada. Strikeout number 8 for Escobar, and as we mentioned, the fact he gets you 2 strikes and drops that splitter on you.
And he's done this every time. Two strikes and then that split, and that is a devastating split. And someone else from the left side who's seen his share of splits is up now, Ricky Leday.
The whole idea of the splitter is to throw it about knee high, make it look like it's going to be a strike, and then when the hitter commits, the bottom falls out. Here is Leday. So far today is 0 for 2 with a couple of punch outs. Outside for a ball. 2 outs now and 2 on.
Don Zimmer still trying to get somebody to get hot a little bit in left field, somebody to take that position.
You know, think about it. Everybody who's involved in that left field position knows that it's up for grabs, and maybe all of them might be trying too hard.
It's a tough way to play. You know, Ricky Leday is trying too hard. He's thinking about everything. He's arriving to the park at 1 o'clock in the afternoon for early hitting. Thinking about where his hands are, thinking about where his head is.
Well, right now he's ahead on the count, 2 balls and no strikes. There's Chad Curtis, who's in that left field mix. Toss Shane Spencer's name in there. Painting the outside corner with a strike. Well, not much you can do on that on a 2-0 pitch. Bernie Williams at second, Chili Davis at first. Certainly not the pitch that a hitter would want to commit on. 2-0. Defensively, they're playing up Leday a few steps towards left field, expecting him to hit the ball to the off field. This one's outside. Ball 3. 3-1. Once again, a good hitter's count for Leday. He can pick and choose. On deck, Clay Bellinger.
Escobar's been throwing outside, outside, outside. Jam him inside, get him.
I think in a situation like this where a hitter is really thinking power on 3-1, you try and keep the ball away if you can. They're going out there. And Leday hits it the other way and drives it foul. So it'll be a 3-2 pitch.
That is the only thing you can do with it.
See, we always talked about being very quiet at the top when a hitter goes to swing. Not too much rocking action. You can see Leday pretty much right within the circle. You know, you move your eyes too much and it's harder to follow the ball. Runners will be off and running. 3-2 pitch with 2 down. Ball hit through the hole into left field for a base hit. This is going to produce another Yankee run. So Rick Leday comes up with a 2-out single, drives home Bernie Williams, and it's 3-1. 3-1 Yankees.
And that's definitely what you have to do with that pitch. It's on the outside part of the plate. Hit it to the opposite field, into left field. You see, Ricky's going to go straight with this pitch. Timing's down, that steady head, as you said, and he's looking towards left field, and that's where the ball goes, and that is what you like to see.
You see, all these other pitches had been knee-high, down and away on this part of the plate. This one's up, 3-2. Escobar throwing a strike, and Leday made him pay. See his eyes right straight down on the target there. Yeah, wasn't much of a straight line, but that's what it was. Here's Bellinger with a chance to drive in a run. A little more breathing room for the Yankees with the base hit by Leday. And watch his reaction following the RBI single. Yeah, why not?
Don Zimmer says about him, he's got such a great swing. Sometimes he looks like Ted Williams, and then sometimes he hasn't a clue.
His first RBI of the year. Bellinger swings, drives one to right field for Sean Green. Drifting towards the line, the Blue Jay right fielder has it. And the Yankees are retired here in the bottom of the 6th inning, but they pick up a run on 2 hits. They leave a couple. It's 3-1 Yankees. Nice day for a day cruise. And New York Yankees baseball is brought to you in part by New York Life. Integrity, humanity, and strength are what make New York Life the company you keep. And by National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go.
The circle line. One of my favorite things to do. You ever been on the circle line?
You know, I might not want to admit this. I grew up in this area. I don't think I've ever been on the circle line. I've been to the Statue of Liberty a few times, but...
Do you know why they call it the Bronx?
Go.
Because it was a family. It was Jacob Bronx. And people used to say, let's go up to the Bronxes. And it was the Bronx. I learned that on the circle line. It was an actual family, the Bronx.
Here is Sean Green. Swinging at the first pitch. A couple of hops to Tito Martinez. One pitch and one out here in the top of the 7th inning. You know, all the other boroughs, it's Manhattan,
yeah, I know
Staten Island, and the Bronx is the only one to say the Bronx.
Because the people went to the Bronxes. Jacob Bronx and his family.
Okay. You learn something every day.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Unless the man was lying to me on the circle line. We noticed David Cohn is back in.
Yeah, there was some concern. It appeared when Hideki Irabu started warming up quite quickly out in the Yankees bullpen, and David Cohn headed back to the clubhouse with his jacket on, but shortly thereafter came back to the bench.
He was flexing his fingers, Kenny, on the bench, and you just wonder if it's chilly. It is chilly down there. I mean, it's sunny, but it's cold, and you heard David Wells say the other night it was so cold he actually lost feeling in his little fingers.
Carlos Delgado, the hitter, taking all the way, and it drops in there for a call strike. Delgado, who last year broke Fred McGriff's club record for home runs by a left-handed hitter. McGriff had hit 36 back in '89. And last year, Delgado pounded 38 out of the park. And that one is a slider that hits him. And that is the 3rd time that David Cohn has hit a batter this afternoon. 2nd time he's hit a left-handed hitter with that slider. And it didn't look like Delgado made much of an opportunity to get out of the way. He just took it for the club. Well, now it brings the tying run to the plate. Here's another look.
Oh, look, he's a former catcher. They don't move very well, does he?
So he's aboard. And David Cohn will now work with the veteran Tony Fernandez at the plate. And Mel Stoudemire on the phone once again. The Yankee bullpen is busy.
Looks like Stanton out there.
One out, one on for the Jays here in the 7th. Swinging through a high fastball is Tony Fernandez.
Fernandez off to a spectacular start, and every year everybody says that Fernandez is done. He's getting too old, and he's batting .397, already has 13 RBIs as we look at Mike Stanton.
Nobody in the history of the Blue Jay organization has more hits in the big league uniform than Tony Fernandez.
And he's turned into a fine third baseman. How about he played third base a couple of games in the Blue Jays organization in the 80s, 84, I think. Then never played it again until Davey Johnson asked him to play it when he was in Cincinnati. Didn't like it, but did it anyway. And now here he is playing third base.
Lifts a pop fly ball into left field. Leday calling for it. And makes the easy catch. 2 down. So whatever was bothering David Cohn, he seems to be okay. And Jason Grimsley, the right-hander, has joined the lefty Mike Stanton. So double barrel action in the Yankee bullpen. Willie Green, Blue Jay designated hitter. Splitter low and inside, ball 1. See David Cohn shaking his head a bit after that pitch.
He's losing control either.
Through 6 innings, Cohn had thrown 86 pitches, 34 balls, 52 strikes. 6 fly ball outs, 7 ground ball outs, 4 strikeouts, and 1 caught stealing. So he's getting them every which way. 2-0 the count on Green. Swinging at a splitter and misses. The count goes to 2-1. Green grew up in Georgia, small town in Georgia, Milledgeville, I believe it's called, and his good buddy during high school was Rondell White of the Montreal
Really?
Expos. Two of them out of the same area.
Same high school?
No, same area.
Same area.
Yeah. Cone falls behind 3-1. And you can see David a little disgusted with himself after falling behind on the count and can't quite find the rhythm here. He's gotten 2 outs, and the hitting Delgado, he came back and got a hot hitter in Fernandez to fly out to left field. Pitch is high, ball 4, and the tying runs are on. So Willie Green has drawn a walk, and that'll bring up Darren Fletcher. And it will also bring Mel Stoudemire out of the dugout. That was the 3rd walk of the afternoon, charged to David Cone. And that might be his last pitch of the day.
And that's going to be very frustrating for Cone. You can see him disgusted with himself. He wanted to get this last out here in that 7th inning.
Now, with the left-handed hitting Fletcher coming up, you would expect that we'll see Mike Stanton. Cone will get a nice round of applause from over 51,000 fans here at the stadium on Joe DiMaggio Day. And as usual, David Cone has given them everything he has. He leads with a 3-1 lead. We'll be back. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Teligent, the Yankees' official local, long distance, and internet provider. Well, look at 20-game winners from a year ago, and David Cone and the Rocket. Roger Clemens sitting next to him, 3-1. Cone probably thinking about the fact that he's only given up 1 hit. It was that 1st inning home run. The last 4 Blue Jay base runners, 1 walk, and 3 batters hit by pitches. So they haven't exactly blistered the ball all over the park against him. But he leaves with 2 men aboard and 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning. Mike Stanton has come on to do the pitching. And Stanton will be facing a pinch hitter. You will not see the left-handed hitting Darren Fletcher. So David Cone looking for the opportunity to win his 4th consecutive game this year. There's the numbers on Stanton as he makes his team-leading 9th appearance. 3 strikeouts in 4 1/3 innings. He's allowed 7 hits and 1 walk. And a left-hander will be facing Geronimo Baroa, who'll come up the pinch hit.
And Geronimo Baroa is only 1 for 15 on this short season. He's gotten into 6 games, got 2 RBIs, only got 1 hit.
Still a dangerous hitter. Certainly would like to erupt in his hometown. He has Delgado at second and Green at first. Stanton's first pitch starts him off with a curveball, and it's in for a call strike.
And that was a great pitch by Stanton. Curveball on the outside of the plate. Usually Stanton comes in with something hard.
Yeah, those are the career numbers against the Yankees in 59 games.
And he didn't have this uniform on. That was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but if he had played against the Yankees all the time, he'd be
back then
in the Hall of Fame. Fastball, and Stanton has Baroa in the hole. No balls and 2 strikes. Pinch hitting is one of the toughest assignments in baseball. I didn't have to do it very often, but I didn't like it. It's just that you feel cold. Some guys are good at it, or pretty good at it.
And one of the best at it was Chris Chambliss.
Yep. Stanton way on the count, way ahead on the count, 0-2. Tries to get Baroa the chase. He will not. The count moves to a ball and 2 strikes.
Staying on the outside of part of the plate against Baroa, so that if he does hit it, he has to go the opposite way with it. Baroa hasn't really gotten into the pinch hitting thing yet, Ken. And when you talk to Chris Chambliss, Yankee batting coach, he'll tell you have to tell yourself that you are now a pinch hitter, and it's very, very different.
Fastball moves him back, and the count goes to 2-2.
And if you think that you still should be playing every day, you're not going to be a good pinch hitter.
It's sort of the way that Luis Sojo has adjusted to being a utility player. Jim Cott has mentioned that from time to time, that once you realize that You're not an everyday guy. You got to pick your spots. And Louis has been helping out at third base in the absence of Scott Brosius. Curveball in there, call strike 3. Over the outside corner, Mike Stanton gets the job done. The Yankees still lead at 3-1. Top of the lineup will be coming up as we head to the 7th inning stretch. Here's a look at that last curve. Fans enjoying the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium on Joe DiMaggio Day. And while they do, we're reminded this copyrighted telecast is authorized on the rights granted by the New York Yankees solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publications, reproductions, retransmissions, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Yankees and Madison Square Garden Network is strictly prohibited. Well, a new battery change for the Blue Jays as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Chuck Knobloch's going to lead it off. You see Mike Matheny, who has come on to do the catching. And a new pitcher is a local product, Peter Monroe, who threw in the opening game of this series.
Out of Cordoza High School in Bayside.
Bayside, New York.
What a treat this has got to be. What do you think he felt like his first time standing on the mound at Yankee Stadium, growing up here?
Well, he worked 2 pretty good innings the other night. Pitches up high. Oh, in there for a strike to Knobloch, 1-1. He allowed 2 runs in 2 innings. 3 hits, 3 strikeouts, and a walk. Opening game of the series. Knobloch, Jeter, and O'Neill for the Yankees here in the 7th. Slider drops in 1-2.
Monroe's big, tall, lanky guy has one of those strange deliveries, Kenny. It's got to be hard to pick the ball up. He seems to be coming at you from all angles.
It's got to be hard to pick up the sign. Look where his cap is. Inside, just missed the Knobloch, and the count is 2-2. I think that, remember years ago, Mike Jorgensen? He's from Bayside, New York, too. Mike now the director of the minor leagues for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Farm director, yeah.
Yep. Bouncing ball to the right side. Kelly will throw out Knobloch. 1 down here in the 7th. Monroe gets his first man out, and we'll take a look at the delivery of Peter Monroe.
Now, very strange. Now, look at his pitching arm. It almost wraps it around in back of him before he brings it up and over.
You see him breaking off the mound on that ground ball to the right side. I mean, that instinctive. When the ball's hit to the right side, you start headed for first base.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when you're a pitcher. You are taught to do that time and time again. We've seen others that
haven't done that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Here's Jeter, bouncing ball to the right side. Bobbled by Kelly, and just in time to get the hustling Jeter.
Kelly looked like he was trying to throw the ball before he actually had it out of his glove, but nice recovery by the ex-Yankee. Right to Kelly. See it, he bounces it right through his glove, was ready to throw it before he actually caught it. Makes a nice recovery and throws to Delgado.
It
he came down to close. Oh, yeah, it almost did, but he came to close down on the glove before he actually had it.
2 outs, nobody on for O'Neill, and it's ball 1. Yankees up by 2 here in the bottom of the 7th. Going for the 3-game sweep of the Blue Jays, who the Yankees trailed coming into this series. So I know it's early in the season, but every little statement counts.
It makes a statement.
Yeah.
It made a statement against the Rangers to take those 2 games. It's making a statement here.
And hoping to carry the momentum out on the road, their longest road trip of the year. The Blue Jays trip will continue. They will leave Yankee Stadium and head to the West Coast to play Anaheim.
Really?
Unbelievable trip. 3-1 now to O'Neill. They go from New York to Anaheim and Seattle. I get a good long look at the moon coast to coast. Pitches down
Is it that
low.
late already?
Ball 4 to Paul O'Neill.
some of the writers, we were comparing, Kenny, trips that the teams have. The Cleveland Indians have the trip of all time. It's in the middle of the year. They start in Cleveland. They go New York, Tampa, Anaheim. That's the best, isn't it?
Here is Bernie Williams. It was Bernie who singled, stole the base, and scored last inning, the third Yankee run. Bernie's 1 for 3 on the afternoon. O'Neill might be thinking about his first stolen base of the year. Bouncing ball through the right side into right field for a base hit. O'Neill is going to hold on at second. Remember we talked about Sean Green's arm? We don't take chances on making that third out at third base. So Bernie picks up his second hit in a row as he chases O'Neill down to second base.
Sean Green turning out to be a very good outfielder after Cito Gaston pretty much told him that he couldn't play. And O'Neill's going to take no chances. Sean Green has a very good arm.
And taking no chances also is Jim Fregosi. With Tino Martinez coming to the plate, Peter Monroe's afternoon is done. And we're going to see the left-hander, former Yankee, Graham Lloyd. His call to the bullpen is brought to you by Teligent, the Yankees' official, local, long-distance, and internet provider. Well, a familiar-looking face. Maybe a strange uniform to be in, but
and a strange amount of facial hair.
It's Graham Lloyd, former Yankee. You can see his numbers on the year, and as they say, he's been doing the job. 2-0.
Sure has. No walks, 4 strikeouts, and nice touch by the Yankees yesterday, giving both David Wells and Graham Lloyd their rings right on the field. Joe Torre doing it. It really was a touching moment, and Wells really said he was floored. They had no idea. And the fans here gave Graham Lloyd a standing ovation when he was announced, when he came in from the bullpen.
He has been used in the closer's role a couple of times by Jim Fregosi because they don't have a standard closer. Just depends on the matchups. And this matchup has Lloyd being used in a situation in which he was used many times with the Yankees, maybe to get just one out. As he faces Tino Martinez with 2 on and 2 out here in the 7th inning, he dropped the curveball in for a strike. Fastball bounced towards Pat Kelly. He'll throw on to first, and Graham Lloyd gets the job done as the Yankees do not score here in the bottom of the 7th inning. We played 7 full. We're headed to the 8th with the Yankees leading 3-1. Well, following Mike Stanton getting the 3rd out in the 7th inning, Jeff Nelson has come on to work the 8th. And Kitty, the Yankees are trying to piece together these last few outs of the ball game and pick up another win.
It's the formula they used all last year. It starts with starting pitching. You just cannot overlook that fact or overstate it. Is that it starts with starting pitching. David Cone again today with an outstanding effort, but then it takes guys like Mike Stanton and Jeff Nelson to get a couple outs for Mel Stoudemire and Don Zimmer. And you have to have some run support. And today's unusual because when David Cone is on the mound, they're usually scoring a lot of runs. Mariano, with his little stretching routine that he goes through in preparation for warming up and anticipating pitching the 9th inning. Graham Lloyd coming in to finish out the bottom of the 7th for the Blue Jays. You and Susan talking about what a good job he had done. All of last year, Graham Lloyd never gave up a run at Yankee Stadium in 21 innings. So much as David Cone likes to pitch here, I think Graham does also. See whether he stays on to face Chili Davis and Jorge Posada in the 8th. Here's Gonzalez to Nelson. First pitch in for a strike.
We talked about Lloyd has already thrown 9+ innings this year. And last year, the total he threw for the Yankees was 37. So he's been used more by the Blue Jays than he was by the Yankees.
In the air, right side, playable. Tino Martinez, foul territory, and puts it away, 1 down. Yankees trying to sweep the Blue Jays. The Jays had come in here winning 8 in a row. And with a win, the Yankees would run their record to 12-5 10-1 here at the stadium, and then they'll depart on, I believe you said, their longest road trip of the year, 3 in Texas, and the Rangers red hot since they left Yankee Stadium. They're in the process of sweeping the Twins. Here's Pat Kelly. That's high for a ball. And then the Yankees will go on to see the Royals for the first time, 4-game series, and finish it off in Minnesota. Good fastball from Nelson. 1-1.
One thing that might make it a little bit more difficult for the hitters. Situation now that you have an early spring and then, of course, in the fall during the World Series time with all the games in the World Series at night now. Yogi Berra might remember this, the shadow.
5 o'clock shadows. Yeah. In fact, with this game starting, as you see Kenny indicate where the shadows come into play, and that makes it very, very difficult for the hitter. You're looking out at the pitcher and the ball's coming out of daylight and then getting into the darkness. Up the middle. Kelly with no problem finding that one, gets a 1-out single. That's an important hit in a game like this because the lineup turns over now for the Blue Jays, and Jim Fregosi has guys that have been doing some damage for him. Shannon Stewart, Jose Cruz Jr., and Sean Green.
Yeah, that one came from the darkness back to the light. That is only the second hit in the game for the Blue Jays. Have to go all the way back to the first inning when Sean Green hit that opposite field home run off of David Cone.
David Cone allowing that only hit in the first inning. Not quite as sharp. Few hit batsmen, but still limited the Jays to 1 run, 1 hit as Stewart steps in. Good swing, fouled straight back. Appropriately honoring Joe DiMaggio today and unveiling the monument. Those days games used to start at 2 and sometimes 3 o'clock, and around this time of the day it's almost 5 o'clock now. That's where Tommy Hendrick, of course, got his nickname, the 5 o'clock Lightning. Be the latter part of the game right about this time of the day, and he'd step in and come up with a big hit. Kelly back in time. Those are called from the bench, or if Nelson's doing that on his own, because with a 2-run lead and Shannon Stewart at the plate, the Blue Jays not apt to try to steal a base right here. First of all, Posada has a very strong throwing arm. That's in for a strike. Plus, you see Jeff Nelson taking a long look at Pat Kelly. The more attention you pay to Pat Kelly, sometimes it takes away from your concentration to throw a strike to Shannon Stewart. He's the guy you want to keep off the base if you're Jeff Nelson.
Or throw a strike to the proper place.
Right. Yeah. 0-2 now to Stewart. Got him. Got ahead with the fastball and got him to wave at the sidearm curve. 2 down in the Blue Jay 8th.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about when I say a strike to a great place. Now, this was actually, it looked like it was a strike. And down and away, it's about as far as you can get away. Right there. And Shannon Stewart is gone.
And now Jose Cruz Jr. will step in. Represents the tying run. Again, a toss to first base. Cruz with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs would be Nelson's last man, I would think. Mariano Rivera has started to throw. With the day off tomorrow, Don Zimmer wouldn't hesitate to bring him in for a 4-out save if necessary. That's where they'll try to keep the ball to Cruz. Good pitch by Nelson. Slider on the outside half of the plate.
We've seen 3 Blue Jay batters hit by pitches today. Jose Cruz Jr. has been a pro since 1995. He's been up to the plate roughly over 1,100 times, has only been hit by a pitch one time. Now, one reason that might be true, because he's a switch hitter. He's always on the opposite side of the arm of the pitcher. So when you're a switch hitter, and sometimes when you're hit, you're meant to be hit.
A purpose pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Good pitch again. Well, the purpose pitches here, and Jeff Nelson is making them perfectly, is to keep Jose Cruz Jr. from pulling the ball down to that, toward that 314 mark. So the first two have been right on the outside corner, and Nelson one strike away from getting out of the 8th inning. And the fans, 50,000 plus, as the shadows continue to move out toward home plate, are warming to the situation. In on the hands, blooped out into left field. Actually, it's going to find the gap. Ricky Leday is going to have to chase this down in the corner. Cruz is heading for third. Jeter's throw is not in time, and Jose Cruz Jr. on an 0-2 pitch laces a triple to left center field, and the Blue Jays are 90 feet away from tying the ball game. Two perfect pitcher's pitches and then a mistake.
Well, they say that Cruz is a good fastball hitter. They tried to sneak one by him. It's down in the zone. All he did was drop the head of the bat and runs the gap in left center field. See Ricky Leday running this one down. Cruz, with his speed, makes it to third ahead of the throw by Derek Jeter. And watch him turn it on. We talked about the speed of the Blue Jay outfielders. They got 3/4 of a relay team out there. Look at him pick him up and lay him down, and the head first dive, and he's in there.
Bit of a gamble by Jose Cruz Jr., but he does get to third base and represents the tying run. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Teligent, the Yankees official local long distance and internet provider. Back at the stadium, 3-2 Yankees, 2 out in the 8th. Jeff Nelson made some great pitches to Shannon Stewart, 2 good ones to Cruz. And then, Kenny, look where Posada wanted this ball.
Well, Posada shifts to the outside corner, but you can see the ball doesn't get to his glove, but the bat gets to the ball. Solid line drive by Jose Cruz. Look at him go down and get that. Downloads on a low fastball.
One mistake by Jeff Nelson. In that situation, a pitcher usually tells himself, if I miss, I'm going to miss a foot off the plate, not a foot on the plate. And Jose Cruz Jr. took advantage of that. You see Mariano's numbers as he comes into his 4th straight ball game. There's a lot of the Yankee wins have been by wide margins, so he hasn't had opportunities to save many games, but suddenly that's turned around. He finds himself here in a situation as Cruz Jr. at third base represents the tying run, and Sean Green will step in. That home run in the first inning against David Cone, the only hit that Cone surrendered in 6 1/3 innings. Good blazing fastball in for a strike, and those shadows with Rivera's fastball have to make it twice as tough for Sean Green or anybody else to pick up the ball. So a big advantage, I would think, right here to that man with that explosive fastball.
How much more difficult does it make for Posada to see it? The only thing for him, he knows what's coming.
Yeah, easier to catch than to see. Now the crowd will once again warm to this situation. Nelson had Cruz here, and he got away. Strike 3 called. A 3-pitch strikeout to end the Blue Jay threat. Mariano Rivera picks up Jeff Nelson. The Blue Jays strand a runner, but they come up with 1. We head to the bottom of the 8th. 3-2 Yankees. Back on MSG after this. Back at the stadium, a low-scoring affair. on this historic day in Yankee history when they unveiled the Joe DiMaggio monument. Prior to the game, Chili Davis will step in against his former teammate Graham Lloyd and pulls this foul down the third baseline. One thing Lloyd added this spring, he went to Mel Queen, the pitching coach, said, I have to have, if I'm going to pitch more innings and not face just left-handers, I have to have a pitch to get right-hand hitters out with, an off-speed pitch. And he's come up with a palm ball, which is probably why Chili pulled that ball foul. He's way out in front of it. Looks like the signal for it again. You can see him put that ball way back in his hand. And at 6'7" with a lot of arm speed and arms and legs, and then the ball comes in there about 70 miles an hour. There they got the Chili's out again, looking for red hot Chili to produce some more. 2 RBIs in today's game, the hitting hero in the last 2. Popped up. Gonzalez out. Looks like they're having difficulty finding the ball, and Cruz makes a remarkable recovery. The shadows affecting the hitters, the sun affecting the fielders, and Cruz recovers to make the catch. 1 down.
Now the center fielder certainly with the easier play on this. As you can see, the shortstop Gonzalez going back, and a little bit of Stagger Lee right there staggering underneath it, but it's the center fielder who's going to make the catch. Watch him come into the picture right quick here and make the call and the catch. Jose Cruz Jr. Pat Kelly was out there.
Posada now from the right side of the plate for the first time. Low for a ball. With that out now, Graham Lloyd, 22 consecutive scoreless innings here at Yankee Stadium. As a member of the Yankees last year, the opposition hit just 137 against him. 1-1 pitch on the corner. In the 9th, the Blue Jays will have Carlos Delgado, their captain, to lead it off, and then Fernandez and Willie Green to follow. 2-1. We hope you've been with us most of the afternoon. Ricky Leday waiting on deck with the important RBI in the bottom of the 6th. That's outside, 3-1, because it has been a even some of the Toronto broadcasters remarking between innings how thrilled they are that they were here on this day to see the Yankees honor Joe DiMaggio, and just all the nice touches up the middle, off the shin of Lloyd to Tony Fernandez, and pulled him off the bat. The off-balance throw by Fernandez, not accurate. Delgado did the best he could to keep his foot on the bag. And a good call by first base umpire Mark Johnson.
They're going to check on Graham Lloyd after this. His hot smash back through the middle. Yep, it hits him, looked like on his right foot. The carom to Fernandez. Throws off balance with that patented underhand flip, but it pulls Delgado off the bag. Delgado trying to make the call for first base umpire Mark Johnson, but Johnson said, you can see he is nowhere near the bag. Posada will have himself an infield hit.
See, and as great as Tony Fernandez has been, you wouldn't teach a young ball player to throw like that. I mean, Tony's thrown like that his whole life, but that is the downside of throwing on the run and off balance. That pitch in for a strike. If he was able to just plant his foot, make a strong throw, they would have had Posada easily.
Leday had a base hit and an RBI in the 6th inning. Curveball hangs inside, a ball and a strike.
High 2-1. If you had confidence, you being Don Zimmer, in Leday's ability to make contact with Graham Lloyd, this would be a situation you would start the runner. Try to get Posada into scoring position with the right-hand hitting Clay Bellinger on deck. Lloyd thought they might do that and threw to first base.
Come on, Rick.
Fouled out of play, and it's 2-2. Some of you playing manager might be saying, well, why wouldn't he pinch hit Shane Spencer right here? As you see the Blue Jay alignment pretty well straight away, but of course Ricky is the better of the defensive outfielders, and when you have a lead going into the 9th inning, you want your best leather men out there. Got him. LeDay down on strikes. First strikeout for Lloyd.
Yeah, this breaking ball is designed to go to the outer half of the plate, but look how it stays in. It still kind of ties up Ricky LeDay. So my feeling is maybe if that pitch was outside, he might have hit it.
Got by with one of those backup type sliders. Clay Bellinger, 0 for 3 in today's game, steps in with 2 down. In the air to center and playable. Cruz broke back, now recovers, and Pat Kelly's going to have to make the grab in short center field. So the outfielders, it's a little adventurous in the bright skies here late in the afternoon at Yankee Stadium. Yankees 3 outs away from sweeping the Blue Jays. Back after this. Trying to earn another save. Mariano Rivera to wrap it up for David Cone and the Yankees. They lead it 3-2 as we head to the 9th. They'll take off on the road to play Texas, Kansas City, and Minnesota. And then on the next homestand, we see a couple of the West Coast teams. The Mariners come in on the 7th, 8th, and 9th. Lou Piniella and Ken Griffey Jr. And then the Angels with Mo Vaughn back in action for 3. And the White Sox, led by Frank Thomas, who's leading the league in hitting. So that'll be a good homestand. Tickets available at those locations. Ticket windows, Ticketmaster, and on the web.
Let's go back to last inning as Mariano will close out the 8th. Sean Green taking a look at one. Takes a look at another one. One more look ought to do it. Yep, he's out of there.
Now, 1 home run threat down, and here is the other for the Blue Jays. Wow. A blazing fastball for strike 1 to Carlos Delgado. That's his line against David Cone. Cutter gets away. A ball and a strike. If Rivera could register the save, it would be the first time that David Cone has ever registered 4 wins in the month of April. Last year he had a good April, 3-1, but he has never won 4 games during the month of April.
And if Rivera can get the save here, he will have saved all 3 of these games against the Blue Jays.
1-2.
Is it time to elevate? Everything's been downstairs.
That's probably what he'll go at Delgado with as Tony Fernandez waits on deck. As the money pitch is the high fastball. Little too high. 2-2. But there again, that's a smart pitch on Rivera's. If you're going to miss, you miss high, not down toward the belt. So being ahead in the count, you never know. Might get Delgado to chase it. Luis Sojo getting his bat playing down for the Texas series. Center field, not hit deep. Bernie Williams with a late break is not going to get it. It's going to fall in for a base hit. I think again the late afternoon bright sun, and Bernie Williams did not get a proper jump on that ball.
Well, we saw the Blue Jays with problems in the top half of the inning and last inning, and Jeter trying to help out for all he's worth, trying to make an over-the-shoulder catch here, but too far for him, and it falls in between the 2. So not well hit, but well placed by Carlos Delgado, and he's on with a leadoff single.
Actually, what hurt Bernie Williams and cost him an opportunity to catch the ball was the ability of Derek Jeter. You know, there's not a lot of shortstops that get out into center field, and when Bernie saw Derek coming, he slowed down a bit. Now here's Fernandez, and he's hitting right-handed against Mariano Rivera.
Yeah, that's very interesting. It shows you that maybe he just doesn't have confidence in his ability lefty against him. And
you know what this might be? Tony is, like most switch hitters, a high ball hitter right-handed, low ball hitter left-handed. He probably figures there's no way I can hit him left-handed. That's in for a strike. 0-2. Some hitters do that against a knuckleballer, an off-speed type pitcher.
This is the exact opposite of an off-speed type pitch.
Ooh, check swing foul. Yankees swept the Blue Jays last April. Now the shadows almost all the way out to the mound. And Fernandez fouls it off. You can see what he's trying to do from that right side of the plate. He must feel like he can make contact with that high pitch better, and he'd just like to fight it off and shoot it to right field, at least advance Delgado. Willie Green, the designated hitter, waiting on deck. And the outfield straight away and fairly deep. Again, check swing foul. Now, we mentioned he was one of 2 hitters to hit 300 with 2 strikes on him last year.
Just got a piece of it off the glove of Posada. It is quite obvious they're trying to bury the ball in on his hands.
Delgado at first reached on the bloop single. Gets by Posada. Delgado will reach second base, and the Blue Jays have the tying run in scoring position. And Posada charged with a pass ball.
Well, we'll see how catchable this actually was. Now remember, didn't get much leather on that one, then all the way back to the screen.
You wonder if that was the effect of the shadows.
I mentioned that before.
Up and in. Knocks Fernandez off the plate. The count is 2-2. Jorge very upset with himself a couple of weeks ago, and he missed about 3 or 4 of Mariano's pitches because he'll throw that cutter and then it backs up and goes the opposite direction. Boy, Fernandez showing why he is so tough with 2 strikes. They keep making pretty good pitchers pitches in on the hands, and he keeps fouling them off. There's Tony right here going to do his best as Zim's got his game face on. Yankees perfect so far this year in this situation, leading after 8. Wow.
Hey.
That was a full count pitch, and he now draws a walk.
No, he doesn't. Nah, that was only 2-2.
I thought so. Must be one of those pitches that Mike Riley called a foul ball. Tony thought was a ball.
A good try, though. I was looking at the scoreboard. It definitely said 2 balls and 2 strikes.
This is the 10th pitch of this at bat. Again, Fernandez fouls it out of play.
And I'm not so sure that all those pitches in on his hands have been strikes. He's just fouling them off.
And he can't afford to take anything close, and he'd love to at least advance Delgado to third. Wow, that gets away from Posada. That's going to reach the Yankee dugout. Delgado will stop at third, and what happened there? Wow. Don Zimmer can't believe it. It looked like it hit Jorge right in the mask.
He's having trouble picking up the ball. Watch him react to it. See, it's almost as if he's feeling for it. He doesn't have really set to catch it. He's hoping that the ball goes in his glove. And it's been the 2 pitches that have been up. The 2 pitches that have been up have been the ones he's had trouble handling.
Second pass ball charged to Posada in the inning. And now the Yankees in a real sticky situation here. First and third, nobody out. Willie Green, the hitter. And a lot of pressure right now on Jorge Posada with Delgado at third. That's got to be an awfully frustrating feeling for a catcher, sitting back there not knowing if you can see the ball or catch the ball, the guy at third base.
Yeah, plus when your pitcher's most effective pitch is a high fastball.
First and third, nobody out, and here's Willie Green. High ball one. That's in for a strike.
See, it appears that the pitchers that are either belt high or lower, Posada sees those just fine.
But if you're Mariano Rivera, you don't, particularly a guy like Willie Green, do not want to throw the ball down around the knees. Good blazer there. Well, the shadows have moved beyond the pitching mound right now, so that might make it a bit easier.
Well, if you're thinking about who would come up next, they did have Darren Fletcher scheduled there. But he'd been pinch hit for by Baroa, and then Matheny is there. But all right-handed hitters on the bench.
Towards second. Could be two. No, Jeter can't make the return throw. Knobloch kind of squirted a little bar of soap over there to him. Chuck didn't get a lot of zip on the throw. The Blue Jays tie the game on the force out at second.
Well, Green makes contact, and you can see kind of flip a little high, and Jeter barely can get out of the way, let alone turn a double play. Knobloch turns, makes a throw to second. Jeter reaches, and you can see that Fernandez barreling in on him. That's payback from all the years people went in hard at him at shortstop.
Yeah, real good takeout slide. Matheny swings through the Rivera fastball, so David Cone is stopped short of an opportunity to win his fourth game in the month of April, as the Blue Jays have tied it here in the ninth. And still just one out. Willie Green represents the lead run. High. 1-1. Green taking a long look, as is Matheny, at Blue Jays third base coach Terry Bevington. Bevington, of course, former manager of the White Sox, added to the staff here by Jim Fregosi. He managed a lot of these Blue Jays in the minor leagues last year. Wow. The undoing in this inning has really not been Rivera. You see Bevington flashing the signs. Delgado with a little bloop to center field that Bernie Williams couldn't get a good jump on. And then a couple of the pass balls have enabled the Blue Jays to tie it.
Well, Bernie not getting a good jump, maybe not seeing the ball off the bat for the base hit by Delgado that fell in between he and Jeter. And then Posada not seeing the ball coming in the pitches from Mariano Rivera.
High again. 2-2. Looking ahead to the ninth, the Yankees will have the top of the order: Knobloch, Jeter, and Paul O'Neill. No one loosening in the Blue Jay bullpen, so it looks like Graham Lloyd will get an opportunity to pitch the ninth. And the crowd of well over 51,000 enjoyed the pregame ceremonies, as they have enjoyed this ball game. They've quieted down right now with what's transpired here in the Blue Jay ninth. Now the count has gone full. So a probable strikeout throwout situation for the Yankees. You would expect Jim Fregosi to turn Willie Green loose here on the full count, 1-out pitch. He's off. In the air to straightaway center. Bernie Williams is there. Puts it away, 2 down. Alex Gonzalez with 2 down. You'd almost think in this situation, Kenny, 2 down and tie game. that Jim Fregosi might turn Willie Green loose at first base.
Well, he's got to try and get somebody in scoring position, and Gonzalez has been struggling with the bat lately. So it's not as if he's going to drive him all the way home from first base.
That's in for a strike. Green does not have a base stealer's lead. He has a very modest lead. In fact, Lloyd Mosby encouraging, Mosby the first base coach, encouraging him to get farther off the bag. Check swing, 0-2. Headed toward the gap in right center. O'Neill is looking up. He's going to play it off the wall. Willie Green is going to be waved home. Knobloch's throw coming to the plate is in time, and they've got him. A late break by Willie Green with 2 out. He's got a score on that ball, and Knobloch makes a terrific throw after taking the cutoff from Paul O'Neill. One more look at it. A one-hop strike to Posada, and Willie Green is out by plenty. Man. Tied at 3. We head to the bottom of the 9th. Back at the stadium, we're tied at 3 because of an outstanding throw by Chuck Knobloch and some, I would say, rather passive base running by Willie Green, the Toronto designated hitter, with 2 out in a tie game and 2 strikes on the hitter. Wow, you got to get a better jump than that.
Well, better lead you were talking about, that not big enough a lead, and then the fact that gets tossed out on the plate on a ball that was driven to the gap by Alex Gonzalez.
He was out by plenty, and it was Knobloch's throw. He leads it off against Graham Lloyd. Strike 1. Here's another look at the inning-ending play that kept this a tie game.
So first of all, O'Neill gets it on the cam right off the wall in a hurry. Then gets it to Knobloch, and for all his throwing problems this year, there are none on this play. One hop, you can see that Willie Green, well, they're waiting on him. Budweiser defensive play of the game. Turned in by a picture-perfect relay by the Yankees.
Knocks Knobloch off the plate. Ball and a strike. Chuck has been hit 4 times. O'Neill in the dugout practicing that stroke. Paul in today's game 0 for 3 and now 2 for his last 30. On the corner, 1-2 to Knobloch. Chuck 0 for 4, couple of flyouts, couple of groundouts. Jeter waits on deck. Yankees have left 9. They have squandered a few opportunities to increase that lead. And as a result, we're tied at 3. There's the palm ball, and Knobloch stood there hoping it would hit him, and it just missed. Here's the last pitch.
In the dirt.
He's trying to stick that back foot in the way. Fouled at the plate. The count holds at 2-2. That got a piece of Mike Riley. Ouch. Gene Monahan, the Yankee trainer, will come out immediately. Now they get roughed up just like catchers behind that plate. You got the shin guards and as much equipment as you can, but when you get caught on the toe, let's see where this hits Mike Riley.
Oh, right on the knee. Ooh.
Got him on the knee or inside of the knee or the hand. For you basketball and Knicks fans, they come back and beat the Heat 82-80. Toward third base. Fernandez right now, it's called foul by Richie Garcia. Tony Fernandez playing right on the line to guard against an extra base hit, and that was fouled by Knobloch, so the count's still 2-2.
Yeah, any closer to the line, he would have been in foul territory, but you can see it's not where the player is, it's where the ball is, and the ball was fouled.
Still 2-2. Got him with that one. No, I guess he didn't. Looked like it hit Knobloch. He ducked out of the way, but it must have bounced in the dirt. Looked like Chuck appeared like it hit him. Wow.
Was that 55 feet or
yeah.
what?
Now the count's full. You can see with Fernandez guarding the line, but with Stewart this deep, even just a little routine single, Knobloch could turn into a double. And he draws a walk. Great at bat by Chuck Knobloch. He and Derek Jeter, as good a 1-2 combo as there is in the league, and Knobloch represents the winning run.
Various things the Yankees could do here. They could have Derek Jeter attempt to sacrifice. He used the hit and run. They can let Knobloch steal. So it's not just a given that Derek Jeter's going to turn around and lay down a bunt, particularly with Paul O'Neill, left-handed hitter, coming up next.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he'd bunt in this situation with Paul being a lefty and struggling lately. They're going to check. You see Derek showed bunt, and I think that's Derek's baseball intelligence. I think he did that to let the Blue Jays know, yeah, you think I'm bunting. But I'd be surprised if he bunts. Let's see what Don Zimmer puts on right here. No indication to bunt. Takes strike one.
Yeah, he was.
I would think with Jeter being a right-hand hitter and hitting over 400, you're not going to give up his bat to Graham Lloyd. And then if he does make an out, then you might see Knobloch try to steal second base. Fouled out of play, 0-2.
Lloyd very quick to the plate that time. He didn't hold the ball very long. In fact, he barely came to a stop. Tried to change his rhythm that would affect Knobloch's ability to get a jump over at first base.
Keeps Knobloch honest at first.
I talked to Graham before today's game. I asked if he was enjoying Toronto. He said yes, he is. In Canada, Toronto is like New York, biggest city.
Off-speed pitch. Yes, he did. I think that might have been the pound ball. Jeter could not hold up. He committed, and Mark Johnson, first base umpire, helped Mike Riley out with the call.
Yeah, obvious that Jeter goes around too far. Tried to put the brakes on, and you can see Matheny right away appealing. And the appeal was granted.
Only Derek's 6th strikeout of the season. And now Paul O'Neill, who has really been in a slump, will step in against the lefty Graham Lloyd. We're going to pay a lot of attention to Knobloch right now, because this is the situation you would expect Chuck to try to steal second base. And with the left-hand hitter O'Neill in the batter's box, Bernie waiting on deck, it makes it a little more difficult for catcher Mike Matheny.
Inning could play out if Knobloch steals. They get O'Neill. If they can get O'Neill out, walk Bernie Williams and then work on Tito Martinez. It's one scenario for this inning. Of course, another one could be that Knobloch would score somehow.
Slider in for a strike. And you can see what Jim Fregosi, what he's doing with his outfielders, even with the shadows there, may be a bit difficult to pick up Cruz and Stewart, but he has them almost back to the warning track. He'll give up a single, but he is not going to allow Knobloch to score on an extra base hit out there in the gap. Towards second base, off the glove of Kelly. They're not going to get anybody. What looked like it could have been a double play bounces off Pat Kelly, and the Yankees with 2 on and 1 out here in the 9th and a chance to win it.
And it looked as though it got a piece of Kelly's bare right hand. Ball hit very hard. And luckily for the Blue Jays, it didn't scoot on into the outfield, and Knobloch could have gone to third. See Kelly looking for the ball. He hasn't found it yet. It's Gonzalez who will recover. Smoked towards second. And Kelly right away checks out that right hand. Looks like he's going to be okay. That's going to be an error on the Blue Jays second baseman.
And Tommy Craig, the Toronto trainer, will come out just to see. I mean, if the Blue Jays had some problems with their second baseman. If you've been with us through most of the series, you have heard us talk about ex-Yankee Homer Bush, who injured a finger sliding head first into second base. He's on the disabled list. Craig Grayback, one of their other second basemen, also injured. They have on the bench Mark D'Alessandro and Norberto Martin. They could always move Fernandez to second base if they had to in this situation. Well, it's rather fitting, I guess, some of these things that happen in baseball. You scratch your head. It's amazing that they play out the way they do. But prior to the game today, honored the former Yankee great center fielder Joe DiMaggio, and who steps in with a chance to win the ball game for the Yankees but Bernie Williams, their current center fielder. Kelly says he's all right.
I'll toss a few towards first baseman Delgado. And with Knobloch now advancing towards second base and safely, you saw the Kitty show where the outfielders were playing for. They'll be playing a little closer now.
Now they'll play in and put themselves in position to throw out Knobloch on a Bernie Williams single. But quite a challenge for Graham Lloyd, who has yet to give up a run here at Yankee Stadium during the entire 1998 season, and now early here in 99. With Knobloch at second, represents the winning run, and O'Neill at first. Fouled at the plate, strike one.
Kitty, you talked about how deeply the outfielders were playing before. Now look at them. Look how close Stewart is in left, Cruz in center, and Green around and right. All of them have moved up. They want to give themselves a chance now to throw the runner out the play because it means the ball game. Knobloch checking the outfielders to see where they are.
And what you've pointed out before, Kenny, is Bernie Williams will try to dictate the pace of the at-bat, slow the pitcher down, make sure he's comfortable.
The two outfielders with the best arms out there, Green has the best arm, Cruz is second, and Shannon Stewart a distant third.
To right field, toward the corner, slicing, just foul.
Didn't miss by much. Green tracking it. He knows he can't catch it. Ball game's either going to be over or it's going to be a foul ball. In this case, foul ball.
Now Graham Lloyd went to spring training and said, I need a pitch to get right-hand hitters out. It's that palm ball. He looked like he got Jeter out with that one. Knobloch, quick check of the outfielders, is at second. Got him. Strike three called. Perfect pitch by Graham Lloyd, and got Bernie Williams looking for something else.
This pitch is almost right down the middle, about knee high. Yeah, right there. Call strike three. Bernie gets the express. It looked like he was looking for the local.
I think maybe, you know, as much time as hitters spend watching video and trying to figure out what pitchers use, he might have said this is where that palm ball is coming, and Lloyd snuck the fastball by him. Here's Tino Martinez, line in for a ball. But Graham Lloyd doing quite a job on his former teammates here in the ninth inning. Jim Fregosi and Don Zimmer. Zim has been in that same position almost the entire ball game. Strike one to Tino.
In fact, Tino was going for 3. Forget the 1 run.
Tough time in these situations this season so far for Tino Martinez. Good swing there. Got a high slider from Graham Lloyd and just missed it. It's 1-2, and I guess that's what happens when you're in hitting slumps. Those hitters' pitches you do get, you foul them off. When you're swinging the bat well like Chili Davis, you don't miss them.
Put in play with authority.
Two and two. Jeter, a strikeout victim. That's rare for Derek. Just his 6th of the year against Lloyd earlier in this inning. Jam shot toward first base. Delgado will make the pick in the play. Graham Lloyd pitches out of a 2-on, 1-out jam. We head to extra innings. Blue Jays coming to bat in the 10th. When we come back, we're tied at 3. Jason Grimsley, the 31-year-old right-hander, will take over the pitching here in the top of the 10th. The Knicks with a big win down in Miami today. And with the playoff spot on the line, the season winding down. Tomorrow night on MSG, they're in hostile territory. They visit the Charlotte Hornets for an important battle. You can catch the pregame coverage at 7 o'clock with the MCS Cannon Knicks game night. And then the Knicks and Hornets tip off at 7:30 tomorrow night, only on MSG.
Well, the Knicks were down by 16 going into the final period today and ended up winning by 2. Nice little comeback.
Grimsley's 4th game. You see the line. The Yankees in the last 3 innings have left 7. They've left 11 men on all day to squander several opportunities to put the game out of reach. So we're tied here as we head to the top of the 10th. And Pat Kelly will lead it off against Grimsley. Outside for a ball. Grimsley, new to the Yankees, came up with the Philadelphia Phillies, then with the Angels, the Indians, and again that live arm that organizations will keep giving an opportunity to. It's always been control that has kept him from being successful in the major leagues, and he quickly falls behind Kelly 2-0. That's in for a strike. 2-1. He has walked almost as many men as he has struck out in the major leagues, and that's not a good ratio. Shannon Stewart waiting on deck. Foul straight back. 2-2 to Kelly. Pat probably happy he's getting a chance to hit in the top of the 10th. It was that sharply hit ball by Paul O'Neill that could have been a double play to end the inning, but it glanced off his hand. That gave the Yankees 2 base runners with just 1 out and a chance to win the game. They couldn't capitalize on that.
And Kelly had to hit in the 8th inning and eventually scored on the triple by Cruz.
Fouled out of play, and it's still 2-2.
Well, right now we're seeing some defensive swings, especially with the 2 strikes, trying to stay alive.
I would think right now the shadows are not a factor anymore. They've moved out well beyond the infield area.
Yeah, but it's no. The lights are on here at the stadium.
Good fastball from Grimsley, and Kelly down on strikes.
The lights are on, but nobody's home right here as Kelly strikes out. Good fan. Oh, right on by him, down right in the middle of the plate.
Sometimes you saw the shadows there moving out beyond the infield grass as Stewart steps in. Sometimes what brings a pitcher or a player to an organization is have they done anything against that team in the past? Tapped out toward Jeter. Stewart can fly. And Barrett with a nice pick in the off-balance throw gets him by a stride, 2 down. Jason Grimsley, when a member of the California Angels, now the Anaheim Angels, pitched a couple of outstanding games against the Yankees.
Jeter getting that glove down and the soft hands as he comes up with a tough hop. Then throwing on the run, knows he has to hurry to get Stewart and gets him by a good 2 steps. But Stewart coming out of the box here, maybe sensing that base hit. Not this time.
Jose Cruz Jr. with 2 down. Ball 1. It was his triple on a 2-strike, 2-out pitch off Jeff Nelson. That made this a 3-2 ball game in the top of the 8th. David Cone with 6 2/3 innings, gave up just 1 hit, a home run to Sean Green in the 1st inning. And this game had it sort of had the feeling that the Yankees were pretty much in control of this game all the way because of Cone's pitching. Good fastball there, and it's 2-1. But just a couple of mistakes late in the ball game. Bernie Williams did not get a good jump on the short fly ball by Carlos Delgado. And then a couple of pass balls, and we're tied at 3. Robert Person, who has been used as the Blue Jay closer, loosening in their bullpen. 2-2 now to Cruz. Graham Lloyd did his job in keeping this a tie game since coming on in the 7th. Got him. Very effective inning by Jason Grimsley, and he ends it with a strikeout of Jose Cruz Jr. Robert Person will come on to face Chili Davis when we come back on MSG in the bottom of the 10th. We're tied at 3. '29-year-old Robert Person takes over in the bottom of the 10th. Former Met. Blue Jays got him in the offseason in 1996 in the John Olerud trade. That's what he's done in 6 games. Live arm, good live fastball, and a slider. Blue Jays still not convinced that he's the answer as far as a closer, and the number on there jumps out at you to tell you why. 6 walks in 4 1/3 innings. Nice job by Grimsley, pitching a scoreless 10th. Grimsley earned a spot on the Yankee staff in spring training as a non-rostered player.
Picking up a couple of strikeouts and a slow roll to short for the 3 outs. Those 6 walks, the closer is supposed to come in and throw strikes. So maybe that's why they haven't really handled the job of closer. Let's go back to the 4th inning. Chili Davis. Opposite field, 2-base hit. Going to drive home a couple of runs for the Yankees. Jeter and Martinez score. And the Yankees jumped out in front 2-1. Chili went to 3rd on the overthrow. So his hot hitting, especially with men on base, continues.
And from both sides of the plate. Yesterday, a 3-run homer from the right side off Plesac. That's way inside for a ball. The double Kenny talked about knocked in the first 2 Yankee runs, gave him a 2-1 lead at the time. That was back in the 4th.
Chili wasn't quite set. Chili's among the league leaders in runs scored, runs batted in, home runs, batting average, slugging percentage.
Toward the corner and left, slicing, just foul. That's the direction he went against Kelvin Escobar to get his double.
You can see the ball tailing and twisting foul, and maybe a good 10 feet.
1-1. Those of the 51,000 that stuck around come up with a souvenir and a little tribute to Sammy Sosa at the same time. Way inside, 2-1.
The way Chile's been hitting the ball to the opposite field. As Person tried to come in, either trying to hit the corner with a strike or move him off the plate. As a hitter, you're supposed to determine what was he trying to do? Is he trying to throw a strike in there? So I can lay in the weeds. Look like they're coming inside. Look out!
Hit him in the back. Chile with a long look out at the mound. I'm sure there was no intention on the part of Robert Person.
Yeah, nobody likes to be hit by a pitch, but if you're Chile, you got to think he can't be throwing at me on purpose. This guy's just wild. Because I'm the lead run. I'm the game-winning run going down to first with nobody out, right between the 4 and the 5.
Of course, what Chile's thinking is, as hot as he's been swinging the bat, the Blue Jays say, well, we're not going to give him anything to hit, and they got him right in the numbers.
Yeah, 4.5. Right between the 4 and the 5.
Chad Curtis will come on to pinch run for Chili Davis. That represents the lead run here. In the 10th, Posada will step in. Yeah, last year we would have seen Homer Bush in this situation. And Posada, still looking for his first hit as a left-hand hitter, will step in. Strike one.
Well, he might be thinking, why isn't Posada bunting? He bunts, gets the man over. Got Leday, you can walk him, go down to Bellinger. No left-handed hitters on the bench.
Working toward the bottom of the order.
And maybe the fact that Posada's not a good bunter.
And good managers will never ask players to do something they're not capable of doing.
Look out.
Showed bunt there. Now, I think right now you see Robert Person going to his mouth, blowing on his handle out. This again is way off the strike zone. Like maybe Posada was doing that on his own. Just wanted to turn around and get a look at a pitch, or thought about bunting on his own.
Yeah, Willie Randolph went through some signs. Chad Curtis looking across the diamond from first base.
Way inside, 2-1. I think in these conditions, Kenny, it's been a pleasant day, but it's a little on the cool side now, as it's just after 6 o'clock, and Person is having a little trouble gripping the ball. You know, you've played 10 innings worth of baseballs. The umpires are into that second stash of balls they've rubbed up before the game, and sometimes they're a little bit on the slick and slippery side at this time of the day.
You see Matheny setting up inside again. Person's had trouble throwing the ball in. I don't think he can sit back towards the middle of the plate.
Yeah, sit in the middle and put both hands on either corner. Just say, see if you can hit me in the chest. That's in for a strike. 2-2.
It seems that Person has somewhat control of the outer half of the plate for the left-handed hitters, but not the inner half.
David Cone sticking around to watch the finish of this one. He stood to pick up his 4th win of the year till the Blue Jays tied it in the 9th. Curtis on the run. Strikeout by Posada, and Curtis is in with a stolen base. Posada swings through the high fastball, but Curtis steals second, and the winning run in scoring position.
This is like a sacrifice after the swing and a miss on a high fastball. Curtis, much in the same way that Homer Bush would do last year, steals second, gets himself in the position. Curtis takes that glance, saw the strikeout, turns it on a little bit more, and is in there. Steal number 1 on the year. Don Zimmer looking to play over. Yep, safe.
So Ricky Leday with a chance to win it. Steps in against Person. way outside, ball one. The Blue Jays had to get Shannon Stewart's attention. He was playing much too deep in left field. And we talked about this the last inning, Kenny, where the outfielders now have to play rather shallow. 2-0.
I would think they pitch carefully to Leday. The fact that he's a left-hand hitter and the Delgado coming in to talk to Person.
It's the outfield alignment we were talking about. Yeah, this might be a visit by the captain just to tell him, go ahead and put Leday on, or don't give him anything good to hit, with Bellinger waiting on deck and no left-hand pinch hitters available for the Yankees. Way outside, 3-0.
Well, you look up on the scoreboard, though, and Leday's hitting 154. But they're going to put him on. This last pitch is going to be a wide one intentionally. But to me, you get closer to Knobloch this way.
Exactly. You start giving up outs to guys in the bottom of the order that aren't hitting well. And if barring a double play, then you're right, you have to face Chuck Knobloch.
And he's been hot the whole series.
Knobloch a bit of a hero in the field so far today, because the Blue Jays could have taken the lead in the 9th inning, and Chuck made a terrific throw on a relay for Paul O'Neill to throw out Willie Green. Now Queen with a visit to his pitcher Robert Person. And what a spot for Clay Bellinger, looking for his first major league RBI. Will step in with 2 on and 1 out here in the bottom of the 10th. The Yankees have had their chances. They had plenty of chances to put her away for David Cone. They have left 7 on base in the last 4 innings, and they have 2 men on again in this inning. Outside, ball 1. You see what the Blue Jays are doing. They've got, you can just barely see Pat Kelly right there. They are really playing Kelly close to second base just to keep Chad Curtis from trying to steal third base. Outside, 2-0. Fastball hitter, fastball pitcher in a hitter's count.
From what I've seen of Bellinger, he likes the fastball elevated. He likes it. He's like Chad Curtis in that regard. He likes a high fastball.
2-1. One of the things that happens in extra innings, and you saw it on that swing, everybody tends to think about ending the game with a home run. That was kind of a home run swing by Bellinger. Front shoulder pulled off, and he swung through it. 2-1. Towards shortstop. To Kelly for 1. The return throw in time. And an inning-ending double play turned neatly by Gonzalez and Kelly. Ball hit well by Bellinger. We will head to the 11th here at the stadium on Joe DiMaggio Day. Tied at 3. Back at the stadium, tied at 3, we head to the top of the 11th. This is the first extra inning game that the Yankees have been involved in. The Blue Jays are 1-0, and this has been a characteristic of this Blue Jay ball club. We talked about their comeback wins before they came to the stadium. The Angels had them down 5, and they came back and won. And when it looked like they might go quietly and get swept by the Yankees here, they come up with 1 in the 8th and 1 in the 9th. Have the heart of the order here against Grimsley. Sean Green to lead it off. In first strike. Just joined us. Sean Green had a home run just inside the pole down the left field corner for the first Blue Jay run. That was the only hit off David Cone. Delgado waiting on deck. High chopper out towards second. Knobloch handles it. The underhand flip to Tino Martinez in time. 1 down.
Always key to get that first hitter out, and Extra innings or any inning for that matter.
Get that lead late.
Yeah.
Was the saying you heard on dugout benches for years. Well, we spin a lot of numbers around, but the statistics are overwhelmingly in favor of the pitcher if he can get that leadoff hitter out. El Duque on the left will pitch Wednesday night in Texas. Outside to Delgado for a ball. Carlos with a single, a strikeout. How about that? The Baltimore Orioles continue to flounder behind Pedro Martinez. The Red Sox win as the count goes to 2-0. Tampa Bay, who had won 6 in a row, now lose for the second straight time, and reigning in Kansas City. Texas got the broom out in Minnesota. They swept the 4-game series. In on the hands again toward Knobloch on a nice high hop, and he can make the underhand flip to Martinez again. 2 outs here in the Toronto 11th.
That'll make the Orioles 10 games under 500, 4-14.
Tony Fernandez steps in with 2 down in the Blue Jay 11th. He has drawn a couple of walks in today's game. Another one toward Knobloch. All 3. This one he throws overhand. And a nice job by Jason Grimsley. He has retired 6 in a row. We head to the bottom of the 11th. Still tied at 3. Top of the order coming up. Blue Jays with just 5 hits have committed a couple of errors. The Yankees 7 hits. They have stranded 13. But Chuck Knobloch, who will lead it off here in the bottom of the 11th, was the fielding star back in the 9th.
Well, Alex Gonzalez will drive one to the gap. Paul O'Neill, couple of keys here. Paul O'Neill gets the ball quickly off the wall. Good throw to the relay man. Knobloch, and a perfect throw. 1 hop to Posada. And there is the tag on Willie Green that enables this game to go to extra innings. They work on this in spring training. You find that cutoff man, and he finds the catcher. And Willie Green way late at home plate.
Now Knobloch will lead it off in the 11th, and the top of the order today for the Yankees has pretty much been shut down. The top 3 spots, 2 for 13 with a couple of walks, and Jeter has both the hits. Good fastball from Person. Strike 1 to Knobloch. Backs him off the plate. Did it get him? Yes, it did. Chuck Knobloch, for the 5th time this year, is hit by a pitch. Gosi will take up the argument. That's the second batter that Person has hit here in this game, and his 4th of the year.
I don't know if Fregosi wants him to ask somebody else, but they're not going to get an appeal. Let's not block it. Yep, it looked like it just got him on the hip. And immediately Chuck will turn to Mike Riley and say, hey, that got me.
Well, a mild argument by Fregosi, and of course he went to his catcher Matheny, and Matheny didn't put up much of an argument, so he must have heard it. Hit Knobloch. Now with the right-hand pitcher on the mound instead of the lefty Graham Lloyd, see what Don Zimmer opts to do, and with Jeter and using the sacrifice. Not showing it there. Ball 1.
You want to watch Person's delivery. How quickly does he get the ball to home plate? Does he have that high leg kick that would give Knobloch a chance to get a good jump? No, not too much of a leg kick.
Jeter swinging away, and it's a ball and a strike. Another look at Willie Randolph. If the Yankees opt for the sacrifice, And O'Neill, who has not been swinging the bat well, the Blue Jays, as a percentage move, might walk him. You still have a good left-hand hitter, the batting champion Bernie Williams, coming up after O'Neill.
Be interested to see if Jeter bunts here. Sometimes a manager will give a hitter, especially one who's swinging the bat well, a chance of swinging that first one. The other team might be lulled into thinking that he's bunting and throw one right down the middle on that first strike. How about the second strike, too? We're going to let him swing.
2-1 to Jeter. O'Neill waiting on deck, and Paul is mired in quite a slump. 2 for his last 31. They're starting off the season as hot as Derek Jeter is. Don Zimmer probably saying, I just don't want to take the bat out of his hand. 2-2.
He's had some good rips there today, but a couple of doubles, just missed a home run.
That gives you a little indication of Person's fastball, because that was right in a pretty good hitting zone for Jeter, and he just got a piece of it.
I think he wants to get him on 2-2. He doesn't want to go to 3-2, give Knobloch a chance to get going.
Another good swing by Jeter. Well, most short relievers are throwers more than pitchers, and I don't say that in a derogatory sense of the word, but they don't try to trick you. They usually, like Mariano Rivera, they usually have one good specialty pitch and they go right at you. That's what Person's doing here. He's got a good live fastball, and he's challenging Jeter. Knobloch on the run. Loop down the right field line, and that'll reach the seats.
And if Knobloch's going to be going 3-2, why not on 2-2?
Willie Randolph has relayed the signs to both Jeter and Knobloch. And the Blue Jay bench with some signs of their own. Got him. Jeter down on strikes. That's back-to-back strikeouts for Derek, and I think that's the first time that's happened all year.
Plenty of fire on this fastball by Robert Person. Just nothing fancy, not aiming for a corner. Just going for the middle of the plate with something on it.
Another tough day at the plate for Paul O'Neill as he steps in. Now the chances of Knobloch trying to steal second base increase. And the Blue Jays aware of that. Just the 7th strikeout of the year for Derek Jeter. High ball 1. Knobloch has stolen 4. He's been caught twice. Bernie waiting on deck.
Remember how big a part the stolen base was for the Yankees in the early season last year? It has not come to the forefront outside of Knobloch for the rest of the team.
2-0. Person popping the glove.
Not only does he throw hard, he releases the ball quickly. So there's not much that high leg kick that is associated with a lot of hard throwers. Got a nice little soft step towards home plate, and then he releases.
Chili Davis on the bench. Person hit him in the back. He was replaced by Chad Curtis as a pinch runner, so Chad now stands as the designated hitter. Slider misses. 3-0. Now let's see if O'Neill gets the green light on 3-0. Williams waiting on deck. When you're not hitting the ball well, chances are if you're Paul O'Neill, you might just you might just want to take a walk right here.
Well, it would push Knobloch into scoring position.
He does swing, and a good swing. Fouled it straight back. He was right on that pitch, and it's 3-1.
Maybe just a little bit high.
But that's at least what you want to do as a hitter on 3-0, I would think. If you're going to swing on 3-0, have a good aggressive.
Leave earth.
Yeah. Now block on the run. And O'Neill takes a shot to left. This again is a count that the Yankees use a great deal, and a lot of teams do. A 3-1 count where some managers, Jim Fregosi being one of them, would seldom send the runner on 3-1. They would just let the hitter pick out a pitch that he'd like and drive it. Don Zimmer's thinking on that count is with the runner moving, he can score on an extra base hit, and a guy like O'Neill is disciplined enough that if it is a ball, he'll take it. On the run again. Ball 4.
There's
the pitch, but low.
There's the discipline. So without the benefit of a hit, the Yankees have put 2 men on this inning.
And that has been pretty much the situation for the last 4 innings. I mean, the Blue Jays could just put 2 Yankees out there to start the inning and say, let's play. They had 2 men on back in the 7th. Graham Lloyd came in and got out of that. They had a man on in the 8th. They had 2 more on in the 9th and 2 in the 10th.
In fact, the Yankees have left at least 1 man on in every inning since the 3rd. So those are a lot of chances.
Bernie went 2 for 5 and a stolen base. And scored the 3rd run on Ricky Leday's single back in the 6th inning. All 1.
Well, the outfield for the Blue Jays moving out and in like an accordion. Now they're in. Just how the situations differ with a runner on second as opposed to first base.
Knobloch checking their position, and the fans you can hear in the background have seen enough. They want Bernie to end it as they break into a chant for him. 1-1. Pretty much here it comes, hit it if you can from Robert Person. There have not been a lot of sliders mixed in. Gino Martinez would be next if Bernie Williams doesn't end it. Got the jacket on now. It's gotten cooler here at the stadium. Fouled out of play, 1-2.
Still a good enough fastball that the Yankee hitters are late. I tell you, this is Person's game. There's nobody else warming up in the bullpen.
Again, Bernie, as he does so often, will call time, make the pitcher wait for a while. Two and 2.
You wonder how organizations like the Mets, Cleveland, White Sox let Robert Person go.
Foul out of play again, 2-2.
I mean, with a very strong arm. Was selected by the Marlins in the expansion draft. They let him go through free agency. Makes you wonder, because this guy throws hard.
High, and the count is full. Tino Martinez waiting on deck. And a chance for Don Zimmer to send the runners. Full count, 1 out. Got to have confidence in your batting champion to make contact. The bullpen in Toronto bullpen, as Kenny said, is quiet, and the fans want some action. Toward right field. Knobloch makes the turn at third. He's heading home. Green's throw is offline, and the Yankees have won it 4-3 in 11 innings on Bernie Williams' RBI single. They sweep the Blue Jays. Send this crowd of 51,000 plus. On this historic day when they honored Joe DiMaggio, they send him home on a good note because of this hit.
Well, when the count got to 3-2, and we mentioned Person does not mess around with any corners. Fastball up and in. Bernie turns on it. Even the strong arm of Sean Green could not get Chuck Knobloch as he carries home the mail and the winning run. Once again, another look at it. Bernie quick-wristed. Base hit through the hole. Now the race is on. And the Yankees are going to win this one.
3 is the lucky number. Third 3-hit game of the season for Bernie Williams, and it's the third time the Yankees have won a game in their last at bat.
As Knobloch scores.
And Jason Grimsley has not had a win since 1996. Fergosi sees the inevitable, and he'll head for the Blue Jay clubhouse. Yankees bench sensing the winning run could be coming home, and Knobloch slides home. David Cone doesn't pick up his 4th win, but he's there to celebrate with his teammates as the Yankees run their record to 12-5 here at the stadium. They're now 10-1. Lots more on MSG as we wrap this one up. Back after this, the Yankees win it in 11, 4-3.